Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808 and episode 2 of the Album of the Year 2019 debate. Today, I've got Raymond Ridge with me, ready to bring some albums to talk about. How you doing, Ray?
I'm doing good. You know the albums I'm bringing, so you know how good I'm doing. I mean, all three. Should we just put all three of them in, and then I can go back to sleep?
We're just so everyone knows, so he can go to sleep. It's 4:00 in the morning where Ray is in Western Australia. He's just here, just running on fumes. But he is bringing Skyzoo and Pete Rock's Retropolitan, Apollo Brown's Sincerely Detroit, and Gangstar's One of the Best Yet. And James Midwinter is also here to discuss these three albums. How are you doing, James?
I'm good. I'd be better if I wasn't going to be listening to about 40 tracks of generic epidemic sound music beats, stock music beats with a load of raps over the top.
Everyone be better after listening to those tracks.
Have I take it you guys know the reference of epidemic sounds, right? It's like a kind of stock music site that you could just go and get like some rando producers hip hop beats and put them behind your vlog.
I didn't know that, but now I know. And that was
the in-joke for all of you guys about my little intro.
Best things about them are explaining the in-jokes. I love those bits. Basically, someone got all of Casey Neistat's YouTube backing tracks and then essentially rapped over them.
It's not what's happened.
That's amazing. That's not what's happened. That's not what's happened.
It's not what's happened. Well, the thing is with Jambo, if you listen to the first episode of this podcast and you've listened to this on and on, you'll know Jambo's not used to listening to fucking great music or great hip hop. So this is new. It's new. It's a bit of new educational experience for him. So
okay. Well, one thing that is true, Ray. Out of these three albums you bought, you can tell I'm going to be playing Dad today because I love these three albums. All these are very achingly 90s, which fits so well into our MO, really. So everyone's going to be really enjoying this episode, I think, because it's their achingly 90s. Purist hip hop, real hip hop, some would say. Yeah, I know. That was the response I was waiting for. So before we kick off and get into it, least hip hop thing you've done the last 24 hours, lads. What you got, Jambo?
So I'm looking after my mum and dad's dog at the moment. It's missing them a little bit, so I spent a good 10 minutes earlier cuddling on the floor with a golden retriever.
Oh, how lovely is that?
So yeah, come at me if you think I'm not hip hop.
I think that's quite. I mean. Yeah, golden retrievers aren't the most hip hop dog. I think that's the only thing.
Do you know what is a hip hop dog?
So, Alsatians?
Well, Spaniels.
Dalmatians.
I was going to say Spaniels, but remember when Nori said, Neptune's, I've got a Springer Spaniel? I think he said Cocker Spaniel, but I've got a Springer Spaniel, so I always say a Springer Spaniel. Okay, yeah, that's true. That's a good pull. I like that. That's good. Yeah, fair play. I went with Alsatians. But it's Dalmatians. You can't have an Alsatian. Do you remember when George Foreman got off the plane to go fight Ali in Africa, and he got off with a golden?
He got off with a golden retriever.
No, he got off the plane. He got off the plane with an Alsatian. Alsatian is the dog of the man. It's the dog of the officer. That's a police dog. Get real. Ray would like it, but not hip hop.
Yeah, fair enough. What about Dobermans then? That a Doberman. There we go, Doberman. That's Snoop in the Snoop video, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doberman.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Least hip hop thing. Jambo just wanted that section to end, didn't he? Yep, I'll go with that. Ray, what's your least hip hop thing, mate?
My least hip hop thing is getting up at 4 a.m. No, least hip hop thing is going to bed early in order to get up at 4. I'm going to bed early, and fucking neighbours are having some kind of a party, and I know they've got young kids as well. But least hip hop thing is probably, when you're laying in bed and there's noises, you can't hear the conversation, but you're filling in the blanks, and you just go into these. Just envisaging, just imagining, just storming up to their fucking door and just smacking it, and then them opening it, and you'd be like, "Shut the fuck up!" But like, what possible response would that be? Like, everyone at the party be like, "Oh, you're trying to sleep? Sorry, shh, party quietly, okay." I don't know what it was. I'm trying to explain it because I know it's a family with young kids, and the kids were like playing, and it's fucking like 10:30, 11. I'm like, what are you doing? It's not responsible parenting. Just I try to. Don't you know about Crate 808? I should put it. I should put like a schedule up in the elevator so that everyone that goes in that goes, oh no, when's Ray recording? Okay, good. This time, right? Just keep it down. No fucking pies.
You've transformed in those old hip hop videos in the 90s of the guys who were partying, those guys, and then the camera pans next door, and there's the old man getting really angry. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You transformed from those guys with the keg to that guy who's fucking saying shut the fuck up.
That's it,
Just want to make sure that you know that. That's actually what's happening. Yeah. So that is probably the least hip-hop thing, so well done.
Hip-hop thing of all time.
That's good. I like that. My least hip-hop thing, there's not much I had to say apart from I did a fucking 3-hour commute to London from where I am now, and I had to get a fucking replacement bus service in the middle.
Cam, it's least hip-hop, not least interesting thing.
Savage. Fucking dead. Absolutely dead. And with that, we're going to go on. So, first up, Skyzoo and Pete Rock, Retropolitan, man. Disclaimer, we have had Skyzoo on the podcast this year. This is by no means... I know people are going to be like, well, you're going to say, all right. But we had him on because we fucking love his music.
I didn't.
Well, no, true. When I say we, it's the more me. Okay. I had him on because I love his music.
Because he gives you good interviews.
And he gives a great interview. Great interview. Come back on, man. I love it. So yeah, man, Retropolitan, Ray, talk to me, bro. Talk to me, brother.
That's the thing.
Why is this?
So Skyzoo, this album, I mean, this is always going to be my album. Like Pete Rock and Skyzoo, boom bap beats. It's hip hop done the way it's supposed to be done. And Skyzoo's effortless, it's kind of unpredictable flow. It's basically it's pure, it's nostalgia over beats, and that's right up my street. It's that music that, and I know it's my fucking go-to thing, but it does change the way you walk. It's that irresistible head nod ability that I love that so much.
There it is. Head nod ability.
And,
it took you.
I described Slow Tie's Grey Skies music before. And I won't call it Grey Skies hip hop because it's not fucking hip hop, but it's definitely Grey Skies music. And compare that to this, and there's no comparison. Like, I don't understand what purpose Grey Skies music serves really when you have music like this to listen to. It's like summertime music, it's like upbeat and happy, and it's not like. So obviously it's got Griselda on there, and that's obviously not upbeat and happy, and not that. And there's a Styles P track as well, which is not upbeat either, but it's sick. You can't talk about Retropolitan without talking about Glorious, the track. It's fucking ridiculous. It's so good. Great,
yeah. Banger.
And there's some tracks that you hear and you're like, people talk about, it's a permanent feature on my playlist kind of thing. And, that's one of the ones that I'm most looking forward to listen to. I want to listen to the whole album because I want to put together, I want to argue for it to get into Create 808 as one of the albums of the year. But Glorious is, I almost hang the whole thing on that track because it's that when I'm talking about the irresistible head nod ability that changes the way you walk, that's the one. You walk out listening to that, and that's a great start to my day. I timed because the awkward bit of it is it's got that long intro on it. Is it? I couldn't find out.
I love that intro. That intro is Miles Davis. That's a Miles Davis interview. You should check that interview out. It's fucking great. It's a really good interview.
But it is the cardinal sin of putting an intro at the start of a great track.
He doesn't split it. He doesn't split it. Yeah.
I'm looking at you kicking the door.
Oh my god! Imagine if that track had just not got that on the front. Anyway,
yeah. So, but that's the thing. I'm in the lift going down, and I need to time it right so that when the doors open, that's when the tune. So I'm there skipping to the right bit. Anyway, yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's got
a soundtrack to your OCD day. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So no one does the nostalgic one-liners like Skyzoo. So that whole the brother Muzo bow tie and bank account pretty is Rashida Jones. I was like, wait, I know who that is. And I have to get because she's on Parks and Rec, isn't it? And
she's from I Love You Man as well.
Jones's daughter, right?
Yeah, she's from I Love You Man. That one.
I mean, when you say like pretty as Rashida Jones, you got to check like, wait, is she pretty? And you're like, fuck, she's really fucking pretty. It's good.
Yeah,
it's like, but yeah, I just like it. It's upbeat. It's not unnecessarily aggressive or it's not whiny about life in any place on the album.
But you say there about Glorious.
Go for it.
For me, it's not even the best track on this album, though.
Ooh,
for me,
it's all good.
The track that absolutely kills me. I remember when it came on. I still get that feeling when it comes on now. Truck Jules.
Yeah, Truck Jules is great.
Jules, fucking hell! Where has Pete Rock found that sample from? It's just amazing. Like everything about it, it just gets me hype. Yeah, that's a fucking it's very very laid upon the sample, but yeah, man, Truck Jules is fucking killer. But yeah, go on, Ray.
No, I was just giving a quick listen to it and reminding myself of Truck Jules. Yeah, it's all right. It wasn't one of the standouts for me. That's interesting that it should be a
it's top 5 for me on the album. That That
It's in my bangers of the year playlist for sure.
So I was going to say Glorious and It's All Good. It's All Good is the one that I was like that I'm loving. Again, it's an upbeat, happy tune as well. So maybe I don't have much of that in my life, and I just need it.
maybe you need Skyzoo and Pete Rock to provide it. So you've got that. You've had a bit of the hottest bars on the album. This is fucking Skyzoo we're talking about. One of my favourite lyricists at the moment. Surely want to raise. I'm not sure what Jambo feels about Skyzoo at the moment, but James, what do you think about this album?
I came into this. I remember a while ago you were trying to send me some Skyzoo tracks. I'd heard a little bit, and I just wasn't in the. I'm always a little bit. I'm the opposite of Ray, basically. Like when a nostalgic hip hop track comes on, I've got like I instantly I'm suspicious, and the same with him with new hip hop. He's instantly suspicious of anything new. So like when nostalgic stuff comes out, I'm like, well, I just like to hear the stuff that came out in the 90s. This better be fucking good. And if it's not fucking A grade, why bother? That's like it's not pushing genres forward, and like there has to be like some real quality. This record though. Put it on, and like you say, Glorious came on, and it just straight away I was like, okay, this is really good. This is like comfort food, but done incredibly well. Like there's nothing genre pushing in this. Like it's just excellently done hip hop, and like it is an album that in this day and age is weird. It just works perfectly as an album. Playing it in that order, it just takes you all the way through, and you end with. The last two tracks, Eastern Conference All-Stars, which again, I really liked. It just needs to be... I'm sure it works on playlists, but if I'd have heard it as in the playlist, I'd be like, yeah, this is like decent, but hearing it in this setting, I was just like, this is a fucking great album. I really enjoy it every time I listen to it.
The one thing about this album, there's so many things about this album I fucking love, and I know we saw a bit of a dick-sucking contest right now, but that this album, when you do listen to as a whole, it's an incredible piece of work. But on the playlist, randomly a track will come on and bang. And it makes me want to go back to the album, which is weird because I suppose Bandana does that for me as well. But like, you know, when you hear one track off a playlist, you're like, shit, I want to hear that other one now as well. And I think this album does that really well. For me, you were there talking about like, you talking about lyrics there, your version to Hottest Bars. I'd like to hear more if you have any, Ray. But two things I was going to say about the Hottest Bars are, interesting, we talked about Freddie Gibbs when we talked about Bandana on these debates, and you were saying like it's a bit of effort to listen to what he's saying. Ever since I've got into Skyzoo back in the noughties, I do think you can listen to him on two different levels. His rhythmic flow is dope.
Better than any of the rappers in terms of rhythm and staying on beat and like just sitting in the pocket. He's probably better than any of the rappers. He's not got as much charisma as like Freddie, but he sits in the beat so much. Like better, he's just on another level with that.
Yeah, and you need
effortless
that
as well.
But yeah, I do think the other level, the upper level of your brain to listen to it, you need to concentrate because there's loads of actual lyrics that have got double entendres, and he talks about it on the podcast. And you go listen to that interview; it's fucking great. And he talks about like how that's how he grew up, and that gives you a depth to the whole album to go in. Like the Nikes over Yeezys, Kaepernick over Kanye. Was like, that's a very on the face bar, and you're like, yeah, wow, I got that straight away. But there's so many other fucking bars that I'm still getting now. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. And you have him doing that all the way through. Not many features on this album, but when you talk about Eastern Conference All-Stars,
yeah, I was gonna say,
mate,
that.
Yeah,
you know I love Griselda. Well, Elzai's verse.
I didn't like him, and I liked him from like this got me into him. Like I think I'll probably go and listen to their stuff more now based off of this track. That's how good this track is. How much I like it.
Shit, what are you saying, Ray?
Well, so it's the best posse cut out of any of the albums. That's one of the factors I was going to bring. It's the best posse cut out of any of the albums any of us are bringing, and it's probably the best posse cut of the year. And it's so I'm not the biggest Griselda fan, but oh shit, would you believe this? Can you believe this? Griselda are on here and they're rapping about guns and drug dealing. Seriously.
Listen to more Conway. He doesn't just bring that up. He's got some really good tracks about his dad, about fucking growing up and no one believed in him.
Great speech impediment, everything about it.
Mate, that works so well.
He is slowly growing on me actually. But the highlight of this track actually, and you know, one of the highlights of the album is actually Elzai's verse on that.
Thank you, thank you.
Ridiculous, yeah. It's so
one of the verses of the year.
Yeah, so it's so good. So many little bits. That whole bit about pick a liner right. that's not as wicked as a sick piranha bite, a brick of china white, a lit wick on a stick of dynamite, a quick reminder. That's a proper rewind moment, because I'm like, whoa, he keeps going. Whoa, I've got to go back to the start now. I've got to start it again. Kind of thing. Yeah,
it sounds like a young Ray Ridge, aka 3 Degrees. It sounds like a young, like when you were good, when you were bringing music out. It sounded like that.
It's definitely the shit that I like. Definitely the way he's flowing.
But do you know what? Do you know what's beautiful about this? You know what is a really beautiful thing about this whole thing? And especially with Jambo getting into it, because like Jambo said in the other podcast that, you know, he doesn't believe in the hype and stuff like that, and Griselda weren't to your taste when we talked about Griselda in past podcasts that we've done, is the fact that this is the fucking time for the independent artist. We talked about Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. That was a major label that brought it, but they're independent artists. We're talking about Skyzoo. He's independent. All these people that we are talking about, the indie, whatever you want to call it, the underground scene is fucking really fucking dope right now for hip hop, and I love that. And I don't know if you liked this, Ray. I know you like Odyssey. Clearly, you brought Apollo Brown to the table today. Mellow Music Group are low key one of the best record labels going in rap right now, and they have been for a while. Apollo Brown, Skyzoo, Quelle Chris, Homeboy Sandman, Odyssey, mate, that is a fucking roster and a half, man. And I know we haven't talked about Quelle Chris. Yeah, man. But Quelle Chris's Guns is one of the albums of the year as well. I didn't get it into mine, but that like when you listen to, it's just a nice thing that we're talking about an album that might not be getting a lot of love generally, because you've got all your Tylers, you've got all your bad bandanas, they're getting a lot of love. So I appreciate you bringing this, mate. If we're talking about like what do you think will age the best and what will age the worst on this album, what are you going for? What you think will happen?
For this album, I've got Age the Best is Glorious, because that's a track that's going to be listening to forever. That's a track that it's going to be in all my, you know, go to change the way I walk head nodability playlist. It's but it is, you know, it's the one I do look forward to. There's a couple of tracks on the Apollo Brown's album which are at similar level, and there's a couple on Gangstar as well actually, but yeah, Glorious is the one, and It's All Good as well. Both of those.
Right, is it going to knock any of Exhibit's songs out of your top 100 songs you'd play to an alien?
So it's interesting that you should say that. So I was going to bring this up because basically that. So you know, so let's say aliens come to the planet, and we all know, we're all very familiar with this concept by now. That playlist. That's the 90s hip hop playlist. So say the aliens came, they got that playlist as and when it's finished, and they left. And then they came back and they're like, cool, that was great. We love hip hop. What's an up-to-date playlist? And there's a new 100 tracks you play to alien if they came back to listen to it.
You would not be the person I go to make that list.
Well, just because of this long explanation about the playlist. No, you have to listen to the first.
Something's gone horribly wrong with their navigation if they've ended up with you as the person to talk about modern hip hop.
Do you know what though? But fair play, Ray. Like I appreciate it. That's a very good caveat. A really good way round to start another 100 tracks.
Exactly.
Fair play.
So another 100, the second 100 tracks, like obviously, and I think you both agree as well, that Glorious would be on that, and It's All Good as well.
Do you know what? I do like Glorious, and It's All Good is good, but Truck Jewels for me, and fucking hell, Richie, like the soul, hauntingly beautiful, that track, Richie. So and I've got a lot of love for Penny Jerseys as well. Like,
yeah, I like Penny Jerseys as well. I like also the fact that the next track, One Time, is the worst track on the album with a R&B song, and they were like, where should we put this in the album? Let's put it just before Eastern Conference All-Stars. So you're about to turn off the album. You're like, that sucks. And then Eastern Conference All-Stars comes on, it saves it. Brilliant track listing.
Yeah. But mate, Carry the Tradition with Styles P, that's a fucking track as well. Like, this is one thing I will say about the 3 albums you've bought, Ray, and I love all 3, mate, genuine, inducing headaches it's been to me when I'm having a shave in the morning. And I'm like, right, we're going to talk about Retropolitan and Gangstar. Like, for me, Gangstar, even though it is Primo bringing this, he's done an incredible amount of work with such little to work with. We'll get onto that in a bit. The other 2 are albums of the year for me, and I can't figure which one to pick. And the only way I can do it is Retropolitan. Every track is killer, and I'm not sure I can say that for every other album you brought today. But Apollo Brown has a fucking amazing attempt at it, but 21 tracks is fucking a long album, and to do that all killer is almost unlistenable. I'll never do it.
The Apollo Brown album is Sincerely Detroit. It's trying to do something else though, isn't it? It's got a different. I mean, we'll get into it, but
it's trying to do the same. It's trying to do the same thing that Cam was trying to do in his least hip hop thing of the day. It's bore us to death.
Mate, like, we got to go in on
Jesus
Detroit.
Christ.
Hold on.
This guy's
Right,
bringing fucking Tyler the Creator to the table, and I just don't understand. I don't understand.
He's just not slow tie. And then rate what 90s rapper do you think should be on Retropolitan?
Ludicrous.
Imagine how bad that would be. Just imagine how bad. Oh, what's he done here? Roll out.
No,
what?
I reckon in terms of 90s rapper that should be on there, I reckon 90s Nas would be just because Nas is he's a little bit more serious, so you like bring like a different edge to the kind of these quite happy beats that it is mostly.
Yeah, and him and Pete Rock go back, right? So they already kill it back in the day. Fair. And let's be honest, we all know most rewindable track for Ray is Glorious because it's the only one he's talked about.
It's a one-track album, everyone.
It's a one-track album.
It would still be better. It would still be better than all your fucking albums. So
no fucking way. It's nowhere near Bandana. But I love it. But it's not near Bandana. Come on, let's behave. Right. Anyway. Right. So out of 10. Jambo, what are you giving this album out of 10?
Very, very solid 7 out of 10.
Mate.
You can't get, that's as high as you can get. Like Royce da 5'9" with Primo, or in general, is kind of my benchmark for like 90s-esque hip-hop that's like interesting and very
Prime,
well done.
Yeah.
Whereas this is on that level. Like I didn't think it was, I thought it was maybe sub Royce, but I actually think it's on the same level. I'm loving it. Really.
So you put Prime, these two guys, Madlib, Freddie Gibbs. This is the time of the collabs, man. These fucking people out here, they're doing some fucking sick collabs.
This is a good look. I like the way hip hop's doing this. Producer and rapper together making one album. Like it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. If you like this, you should listen to Apollo Brown and Skyzoo's one.
If it's anything
no,
like
I love
Sin
Apollo
in Detroit, I will not be doing that.
Right, we're going to go in. We got to go in here. I'm going to give this album, probably going to give it an 8, man. Because I just keep banging it. So it's probably an 8 for me. Raymond, what are you giving it?
Yeah, it's it's tough because I'm trying to put it in. Yeah, it's an 8. It's an 8.
Got to be an 8, hasn't it? I know. Just thinking that, how many times do you get this in life? Like where Pete Rock is bringing a whole album of magic and Skyzoo's doing what he does best at that same level. Like you don't get that a lot nowadays.
Yeah, and the thing is, you don't get that in terms of. I don't want to keep making it about the fucking Alien playlist, but if he were being like, no, you can't have 100 different playlists for each different time of the week, and it was just one playlist, the Glorious would be on that, and that's all those tunes that have stood the test of time, and that I'm still arguing today that they're that important to the culture. Glorious. Already, I would put next to that, and I think people would agree. It is glorious. Anyway,
right, man. So
get it out of my system. It was just there, It's anyway.
So you got a 30-second clock timer now, mate. I want 30-second conclusion from you, Ray. Why this should be album of the year? Ready, steady, go.
I swear to God, it sounds like everything is supposed to. Couldn't have said it better myself. It's perfect hip-hop, classic boom bap, and there are a couple of indisputable classics. Glorious, which we've gone on about, and It's All Good For Me is another one of them. It accurately describes the whole album. Glorious and It's All Good. There are no fillers on Retropolitan. It's an upbeat album with the best posse cut of the year to balance it out, with Skyzoo's nostalgic one-liner style, bank account prettiest Rashida Jones, theme music for superheroes and Louis Capes. It belongs in Crate 808.
Done.
Boom.
Do you know what?
I thought he was going to rap. I thought he was going to start a rap when he started that.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, he's going to rhyme this 30-second ending.
Yeah, we expect too much of him, don't we? We expect too much. I was like, here we go. Oh, no, not having it. Mate, to be fair, that was the best intro to a conclusion you've done so far. Your conclusions haven't been that great, but that is a good intro to that conclusion. Good work.
That's the owner of this podcast slating his employees, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you know what? Actually, no, I'm not. I big up all of us for bringing all the fucking flavour this year, but I'm more surprised at that Jambo than anything. I'm never surprised about when Ray likes something. I can still see why he likes it. I'm surprised that you liked this album as much as you did, because I genuinely thought this wasn't your bag.
Yeah, I have a balanced and open mind.
Oh my God.
I'm laughing because it's funny. He's laughing because he doesn't believe it. Right, and now we move on. Apollo Brown, Sincerely Detroit, one of my favourite albums, Ray, so fair play for bringing this.
Really.
Let's go. Let's go. Yo, just taking a slight break to proceedings. Just to say, man, thank you for everyone who's following us. Thank you for everyone who subscribed, shared, reviewed us. Yeah, man, big up. And also thank you to all the guests we've had. It's been an unreal year. I can't actually believe that we had on all we had on. For people who are just listening to the pod for the first time, check the archives, man. We had on DJ Premier, Pharaoh Monch, Skyzoo, Open Mike Eagle, Doc Brown, Rodney P, Black Twang, Ty, yeah, man, DJ Muggs, Mayhem Loren. I'm just saying names now. I realise I am just listing names, but if you want to go check them out, just dip into our library. But yeah, so what we were doing, we were trying to go out there and people we respect, people we listen to, and guests that we've had on, we wanted to ask them what are their albums of 2019. So we hit up Ty, UK hip-hop legend. He jumped on the pod, really good podcast episode if you want to check that out. Really insightful, really passionate, and his music kind of shaped my childhood growing up. So we went to him just to see, you know what are his albums of 2019?
Greetings, people. This is TY giving you my 2 hip-hop albums for the year. Because of the age that we live in, sometimes my favorite thing isn't actually an album. So I'm going to give you 2 EPs. The artists are Summer Pearl. This year she really came through with a great EP, and I really enjoyed the tracks on that. So I can't remember the titles, but please check her latest release, her EP released this summer. It was great. And the second one is Sus Bully. I kind of came upon this particular body of work late, and what I've enjoyed, I watched them perform somewhere and I was amazed by them, and then bought the EP and really just got into playing it and played it on my shows. And I felt like as an artist that is doing what I'm doing, it's really, really important to really acknowledge the next people that are coming through now that are doing amazing work. So those 2 artists are the ones for me, Sus Bully and Summer Pearl. Check them out, check their music out, check the EPs that they've dropped. So I know that Summer Pearl's, she's got the EP with the Pretty Girl Sound, PGS. Check that, that's the EP I'm talking about. And the Sus Bully project is ridiculous. Just check that out. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's just definitely for the year for me. All right, people.
Right, so that was Retropolitan. Now we're going in, man. Apollo Brown, Sincerely Detroit, Ray's second album choice. Can I just say, before anything else, Ray would never have listened to this album if it wasn't for me. So whatever that comes out of him is all due to how good I am.
Oh, so you're to blame for this shit.
Jesus Christ. It's a good start. It's a good start because anyone that's listened to this album now, Jamo's blown his credibility altogether because there's no way you can be ahead and not love this fucking album. It's beyond me how anyone can dislike this. It's just a fucking...
Would you say that the my least hip hop thing I've done today is hate on this album?
That's the least hip hop thing you've done this year. This fucking decade.
I can see your argument, mate. I can see your argument, but
you can't because I haven't said it yet, and you've already interrupted me, which is a classic Cam, by the way. Everyone's well used to that by now.
I can see your argument for why you would say, "Oh, every head should love this album." That's what I meant.
This is one of my highlights of 2019. It's just Cam talking over me constantly.
And now we're going to talk about Sincerely Detroit. Why do you love this album? This album, so basically, look, I've for the most part, like you said before, I've slept on Apollo Brown. I didn't really know in detail about his other albums or work. It's kind of passed me by. I'm only vaguely aware of some of the Ugly Heroes tunes, but when I heard this, it just fucking blew me away. The beats are ridiculous. One of the Cambos.
Cambos.
I'm enjoying it.
I saved all the parts.
Ray's tired.
Cambo, Chambo, and Rambo for some reason. And now I can't stop thinking about it. Anyway.
Rambo. Has to call himself Rambo on a media file.
It's just fucking R, isn't it? Jesus, fucking boiling here. It's ridiculously humid.
We're having a mare to start this, aren't we?
I love it. I love this. I thought this bit's really good. I enjoy this bit. It's fine. It's good. This is all character, man.
So, yeah, I know one thing that Jam was going to bring up is that it is a long album, and I'll give you that. But so what we said about Skyzoo, there were a couple of indisputable classics. but Sincerely Detroit has so many more. The beats are fucking incredible. There's so many examples of perfect hip hop. The sample chopped up and then dropped on the beat. Boom bap beats. It's just ridiculous. I love this. Again, look, digging in the crates, finding something, chopping it up and dropping it over a boom bap beat. There's so many examples of it across this album. Thoughts in Mind, Stopwatch, Never, Dominance, All Day, In the Water, Jackson's, Can't Lose. All of them are ridiculous. So Dominance and Can't Lose are flawless. They're 10s. They're just ridiculous. I've had Can't Lose on repeat. Like, this has been the problem with this album for me, is that this Dominance and Can't Lose are so fucking good. I'm listening to some of the other tunes, Jackson's, which is one of the standouts, In the Water, All Day, Never, and I'm like, let me just listen to Can't Lose again, because it's just so ridiculous when it drops in. Anyway, yeah, I'm really hesitating because I automatically want to say the head nod ability is ridiculous. Well, I say that, but this is the go-to. But yeah, it is, and it is to go back to one of the crutches of what we talk about on this podcast is it does change the way you walk. It's one of those when I leave the flat to walk to work and I don't know, you're walking down the street listening to it like you're looking at everyone else like you don't know what the fuck's going on. It's fucking quality.
Can I just chip in on a few things you said there?
Good.
Like I'm fully on board, just full clarity. I'm fully on board with everything Ray said here. Just one of my favourite albums of the year, completely. It was probably good. It was going to be in my choices, but I was like, no, throw it to Ray. It's all good. I know you're going to make a good argument for it. All them tracks are amazing. I know Jambo's got a completely different point of view, but you never said that for me, my favourite track of the year probably is God Help Me. Like, that track is just everything I love about hip hop, and it just reminded me. It took, and this touches back on what Jambo said previously, which was like a lot. Well, not even a lot. The theme of this year has been nostalgia, and
yeah, definitely.
That track, the whole album, but that track especially takes me back straight away to living in East London as a young kid, getting into different branches of hip hop, even though I was in my early 20s. So you had 10 years in it. But in my early 20s, I realised there was a whole school of hip hop I'd never really touched, which was Stone's Throw, and it was Detroit. Like, apart from Dilla and Eminem, like there wasn't much more Detroit in my mix. And then around that time, I discovered Black Milk, and he is now easily for me in my top 10 producers of all time, as favourite producers, and for me top 5 producers who can spit. I think his spitting's on par with some of the best rappers out there.
Can I just clarify something before you carry on, man? You said he's in the top 10 best producers, and then you clarified it, said favourites. You don't think he's the best? He's just one of your favourites. No. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think I think there's just a distinction to be made with best. Like,
yeah,
that I love the word legacy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Black Milk's legacy is that. Like, I don't think it can be in that list for me, but favourite completely, because this track and this album generally, it's like a time machine, man. I feel like I am back there walking, to work, and it just feels and smells and everything about this album. For me, the amount of soul and evoked like emotional feelings out of me than I would say almost any other album this year. Really, like, I don't know what it is about it, man. Like Ray saying there about head nod ability, the way you walk, all that stuff, and I completely agree. And I also think, even though we have that level, we also have a deeper level, which is a lot of brilliant messages and bars and verses on this album that really make you think about life. I'll give it back to Ray, but there's loads of examples of that. One of them being like, do you just skim through music or do you really listen to it? Like, that track really got me. But Ray, sorry man to interrupt you in your flow, but I had to just chip in there. Yeah, go on.
Yes, that's all I've got. That's it.
That's all he's got.
It's the best album ever. Why? That's it. It just is.
No, I'm curious.
Can I ask you guys a question? Yeah. So we've had a lot of like albums that are very producer driven. So we've got like Madlib, like Premier, Apollo Brown. Like, do you put Apollo Brown on the same level as Madlib as a producer?
Easily above that. Fucking hell. Madlib is just so fucking overrated. Everyone he's paired with, that whole thing is just very much believing the hype. Because of
no,
work,
absolutely
100%
not.
And this whole thing this MF doing, all of it is just
no way.
Massively
the Beat
overrated.
Conductor volumes, the Beat Conductor series is one of the best pieces of work by any producer, including Premiere.
What about Premiere?
The whole series is
Apollo
incredible.
Brown? Do you like Premiere better than Apollo Brown? If you had to pick
Premiere, he'd like Premiere more. Premiere's his boy. Premiere's your
obviously standard. You would. Yeah. Cam knows that. He's chatted to Primo. He knows me and him are tight. That's fine. we go back.
Mate, you'd have loved it, man. You'd have loved it. Boner is what I kept thinking. Sorry, Jambo, go on.
What about Jay Dilla?
He's top 3 for me all day.
So he's back. So Apollo Brown to you, Cam, isn't as good as any of those producers.
No, because this is the way I look at Apollo Brown. There's been a massive school of work since Dilla. Dilla's legacy is so big. It's on par with, he set legacy. A lot of artists have come from where he is. And that's why Black Milk, when I first started listening to him, a lot of the people I talked to about him who knew him were like, yeah, but he does sound like Dilla. And I was like, Sound the Alarm does not sound like Dilla. To me, it sounds completely different, but it has a very Detroit sound. I think Apollo Brown is a school of that, comes from a school that he's made his own. He has made his own because his sampling's quite different to Dilla. I've not heard him do off the wall shit that Dilla would do, on Lightworks, all that stuff on Donuts. There's some really, that's one of my favourite albums of all time anyway, but Donuts is, if you look at what Apollo Brown does, everything he's done, I don't think he's on a weak album. He's a solid amount of work behind him. Everything's the Brown, there's so many good things that he's done, including his collab with Skyzoo, which was brilliant. I just think he's just one of them producers. When he drops something, I know I'm going to check it, and I kind of know I'm going to love it. But this is what I'm saying. But then again, I think that. But if I'm hearing a track on here, you're talking about commas and apostrophes, right, mate?
Awful.
That is no way,
awful.
Mate. Quelle Chris on that track, mate. Quelle Chris and Denmark Vesey, innit? That's the guy. When they're on that track, mate, that kind of track.
What are they talking about on it? What are they talking? It's absolutely nonsensical.
Jesus Christ, absolutely nonsensical. I can't wait to get to your albums. Jesus fucking Christ. Remember you said that when we started talking about fucking.
Do you want to hear why I don't like this album? Do you want to hear why I don't?
100%.
I find that Apollo Brown, I couldn't work it out. It took me ages. Why do I hate this album? And I realised I don't hate it. I'm just being forced to listen to something that's not very interesting to me. And I feel like I've woken up in a science fiction film where everyone's like, this is the best shit ever. And I'm like, it's so hard to get through this album. It's just got nothing interesting in it. It's so boring.
But lyrically, did you not think, because there's so many features, there's 50 odd features.
Oh, that's the problem, for mate. This is the problem. No, but this is the thing. This is the kind of album that I thought, even lyrically, it's weird that you say it's boring, because I thought it was quite dynamic, because there's lots of different flows and lots of different There's not lots of different flows. There's the same flow over and over again.
No, I thought the lyrics were being switched up quite a lot.
Not the flows, maybe the lyrics, but not the flows.
They are 100%. No, carry on, Jambo. What is it about this album? I want to.
So he's got a formula, as a producer. Look, I get it. Okay, right. I'm not going to say I hated it, but it wasn't because it's necessarily bad music. It's fine. You know that there's whole song "Never Take a Loss," and you were saying he's always producing, you're going to get a solid album. That unlike Jay Dilla or Madlib, where they make wild tracks that are a little bit out there and stuff, and sometimes they make something not as good. He never reaches a height. I was literally trying to think of a good metaphor. I know Ray loves my metaphors, but what it reminded me of is I was trying to relate it to food, and it's like a Pret sandwich. It's like, yeah, it was fine, but you will never remember that Pret sandwich again, and you wouldn't want to eat a 5-course fucking dinner of Pret, which this is forcing you to do. I can get why reviewers of music and films get so angry, because being forced to sit through 20 tracks of this, where literally I can pick apart every beat. This is how and every time you listen to it now, you might not be able to not hear this. This is what he does. He lays a drum track, then he has a string sample that he puts into the buttons on the sampler, and he just hammers that out, and it's the same every time. And then there's a vocal sample, and that is it every time. There's no no minimalism in the beat whatsoever. He doesn't let the samples breathe. The samples are chopped up to fuck probably because they're not very interesting samples. Like this next to like a very average Gangstar album, which is what we're also going to be talking about.
Fucking
Premier's beats are fucking unbelievable. When you just the very intro of that Gangstar album, where you hear the variety of Premier's beats,
oh my god,
and then you're forced to sit through exactly the same beat, like setup and method for every track, is unbearable. Listen, look, I get you like what he's doing, but you can't deny when you go back and listen to it, he does the same thing every time.
No, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if doing the same thing every time should be like lambasted as much as you're doing, though, kid. Like, I understand there has to be some adventure and expression in artists, and I'm fully with you. That's why I think, unlike Ray, Madlib is a genius when it comes to that.
Well,
but
we're not talking about Madlib. We're not talking about Madlib.
No, sorry. No, I'm just saying.
You lot can eat Pret sandwiches all you want. But that's what I don't have to do that. Like, Pret is a good way of just getting some calories in you. I can just choose between this and a good album, and it won't, it's not going to cost me. They're the same price. I'm going to listen to a much better album than this.
But I think when you say like the samples aren't very clever or like or generally good,
he doesn't let them breathe ever. It's the same punchy chopped up sample with a vocal.
But they all say something different to me.
That's what's ridiculous is the reason that I said I wanted to hear what Jambo had to say. What the buzzword that I was waiting for him to say is that it's not pushing the culture forward, because that's another one of his favourite phrases. But he's basically he said that in a basically roundabout way. But because what you just said is, all he does every time is he kind of chops up a sample and drops it on a beat. And I literally said that 2 seconds ago about why there's a reason why this is amazing. Yeah.
So you either like it or you don't.
The thing is that you either like, exactly.
Hip-hop.
You either like hip hop or you don't. That is a good way to
derivative hip hop.
It's derivative, another one of Jambo's favourite words. It's not about being derivative. So this is what's beautiful about 90s hip hop, is that it is exactly what you just described. A sample, it's about digging in the crates, finding a sample, chopping it up, putting it on your buttons and dropping it over a sick beat. That is what Apollo Brown does over and over. Yeah, it's literally, I'm saying exactly the same thing that you said, but that's a highlight. It's a highlight for me. That's the thing. He does it expertly. And yeah, he's not trying all new and crazy different things, because the beauty is found in the limitation. It's found in sticking to these rules, because he's doing it exactly the same way. But incredibly, you want to listen to all of this. We just talked about, though, it changes the way you walk and the head nod ability, and these are all valid things that everyone agrees with. The irony being, people listening to this podcast are nodding their head when I say that, because they're like, yeah, Ray, you're right. You've got head nod ability as well, motherfucker. Shit. So this,
what a prick.
Don't you think this is something, though? This is to do with age more than anything. And
no, it isn't.
I like new hip hop, and you don't like new hip hop.
No.
But Ray does like new hip hop, and I think both. I think that can't be said, because I would easily throw that argument at Ray about him not liking new hip hop, but he does. Like, there are things I've thrown to him that he do like, but I also think that whole argument of nostalgia is key right now. It's key, because Jambo's idea of nostalgia may not be this, and this for me, it's not Kanye.
Was mine. Retropolitan. I love Retropolitan, but
this is exactly what I was going to say. Can you give me because the one thing when you bought these three, Ray, I love all these albums, Retropolitan and especially, and this one especially. Gangstars, I do really like the album, but more for the fact that we'll talk about that. But when you did like drop these three to me, they're all so cut from the same cloth. It was almost laughable. I was like, oh my God, Ray's done peak Ray. But then I was thinking, what do you find different between the three? Like, really, what are the key themes that these three albums are bringing that are very different?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing with these albums, is that they all follow this exact formula that I just described. The whole chopping up a sample, dropping it on a beat. But then they all do it beautifully, and they all do it in their own way. Like a Pete Rock beat doesn't sound like a Primo beat, doesn't sound like a Apollo Brown beat. That's the thing with it is, do you know what a haiku is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 3 lines long, 17 syllables, 5, 7, then 5 syllables. Those are the rules. Would it be better or worse with more words and more lines? It's not relevant, is it? The point is, it could be better or worse, but it wouldn't be a haiku anymore. And
do you know what a hot dog is?
Apollo Brown sticks to the formula, and he makes that beautiful music. And yeah, you could do all kinds of different things and chuck in and have a live band and everything. And would it still be hip hop? Yeah, maybe it would. But this is going to be relevant when we talk about Igor, because that's where I'm like, I don't know why what are we listening to here, but.
Pure hip-hop music. Absolutely. Igor is the purest hip-hop album out of all of these.
Oh my God.
Eagle's coming, man. Eagle's coming. I know a lot of people want to have their little say about that album. But
I get it. I'm against the grain of all of the mid to late 30s listeners and followers of your Instagram account. I don't sit there with a Rakim poster wanking off in my
Jambo, he's trying. Are you saying you're trying to be down with the kids? Is that what you're saying?
Can I just say, like, lyrically, what did you think of a lot of because a lot of these rappers, had you heard of a lot of these rappers? Like, all of them, there's fucking 1,000 of them on there. Like, you've heard of all these rappers, have you?
Not all of them, no, but a lot of them, definitely. Like, the backbone, when you talk about lyrics, the backbone.
There's so many bad ones. There's so many.
No, there's
lyrics.
Not. And that's the other thing about this as well.
I can give you them now. Terrible lyrics. I can hit you off.
Go on.
Right. And let the bitch blow like Billy Clinton. That's 20 years out of date.
Yeah, but it'd be forever relevant though, wouldn't it? That's going to be talk in history books.
But like now I got my Jews shining. Where's Adolf at? That's terrible. What
is that one?
Now I got
Where is that one?
That's on longevity. That's on longevity. That's a terrible.
I missed that. I missed that one. That is I never caught that one.
Can I give you some more? Can I give you some more terrible lyrics? As far as this rap thing go, I've got a killer instinct, and that explains how I attack these flows. Oh God. Okay. Usually I'm off the top. I'm just trying to avoid the pen.
That's quality. That's quality.
Got layers.
Shooting himself in the foot. That's good. Let me pull out some classic lines. Pretend they're bad. It's ridiculous.
Maybe I don't get. Maybe I'm just not into that. But like Wayne's second album, it's lights out. Oh God, fuck me. This is.
There's some ridiculous blasting text like having sex. I prevent life when I pull out. It's fucking brilliant. There's so many ridiculous. It's weird. It's like me and Jam are complete polar opposites. But everything he said, I would say is a highlight, and he's saying it to bring it up as a negative.
It is really odd. That is really odd. But that's what's really fascinating about this. That the fact that this is where hip hop is right now. Like, I don't know. We're talking about like lyrics on here, and I think both of it, lyrically and musically, it brings it for me. If we're going to just go into some of our categories, though, Ray, I'm going to jump off with a little fun one, right? What 90s rapper should be on this album, do you think?
I don't want to hear 2019 Meth on these beats.
2019? Yeah. He kills it anyway, every time. So, but yeah, on these beats would be sick. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Yeah. Even 90s Meth, though, right?
Well, thing is, I've Meth out of all 90s rap. He's the one he's improved so much that he just really casually, he's like got more charisma now. He's got more like casual, just, I can't remember what that clip's from, when they're sat in a cinema and like it's filmed over Ghostface's shoulder, and he's just there dropping a...
Yeah, it's from the documentary, the Showtime doc.
That's the one, yeah. And it's just the charisma and just casual, but fuck, I'm just going to drop a ridiculous lyric that's better than anything else that's out, on most modern day. Fuck, let's just, what we're about to talk about. Igor and the Denzel Curry album. I can't even remember what the third one is. I think I just didn't listen to it.
Zoo.
But
right. But you, by the way, but when you said about Meth coming on, that's interesting, because I was thinking, what I'd love to hear on this 90s wise,
an a cappella cannabis verse.
I'd hear that anytime.
Mace.
Me too.
Mace.
I'm here for that. Definitely. I was going to say it's an easy one because he's from Detroit. I want to see M, but not M, Battle M. But like these soulful, really like almost kind of somber at times this album is. And I was like, I'd like to see that M the kind of not having to spit 100.
Yeah, like
100 miles an hour.
Say Goodbye to Hollywood, that kind of.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh God. Jambo, you just don't like. You just don't like
go
it.
Say, no. We can't.
Let's get some revival
Say
era
Hollywood
Eminem
has some of the best lyrics about revealing yourself on wax. Easily. When he's talking about how he wish he could have done science instead of this, how come I was good at that, not this and that, and all that shit. There's so much good stuff on that track. I'm not having you have a go at it. Do not besmirch Hollywood, burn Hollywood, or whatever it is.
Exactly, yeah.
Either way, right. So
say goodbye, Jambo.
Jambo.
I think it has been a Freaky Friday, and I've gone into a different timeline where everyone do you all like Trump now? Is that what's happening?
Oh, he's huge.
Everything's just say goodbye.
I'll tell you one thing: the majority of people in America like him. So
yeah, that's true.
They can't be wrong, can they?
Well,
who knows? We'll see.
Can I just say one thing that really annoyed me about this album? And I don't hate this album; it's just a boring album. But the fact that I was reading reviews because I was like, surely no one else likes it. Everyone does like it. You're right. I am the odd man out. It's not reviewed. It's actually quite tellingly not reviewed by any decent reviewer. But all of the shitty.
Fuck it! What's a decent reviewer? What a ridiculous thing to say.
Don't. Why are you doing that, Jambo? Why are you even saying that to him? You know what's going to happen.
But anyway, it's decent reviewers, people who've got a decent opinion. In all those reviews on hip hop, don'tstop.com or whatever it is, they're always going on about how he uses Windows XP on a 20-year-old computer to make his beats, and I'm like. It's like we're meant to be impressed by that. That's no, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's just shit. It's not good. It's not like using a SP1200 or something like that. You're using a fucking terrible old computer with out-of-date software. That doesn't mean it's good. That's why it sounds so limited all the time.
I don't think it sounds limited. I don't know.
It doesn't sound limited.
I get different things from it.
And it's not a good thing either. Fucking Igor sounds like he made it on his, I don't know, on a fucking app on his iPhone, iWatch, for fuck's sake, or whatever. It's just nonsense.
On his iWatch.
Madlib did it off his iPad, mate, so can't fuck with that.
Really? Was Bandana made with an iPad?
Yeah. Yeah, made all them beats on an iPad. He tweeted it, didn't he? And fucking Twitter crumbled. You can't do that to us. Anyway, either way, I was going to say, Jumbo, what's interesting about this is, because it's obviously very Detroit, and I love the idea of just writing a love letter to the city he's from and he loves. I remember you used to be really into Detroit beats. I think when we lived together, you had the Dilla's Detroit album, and you used to really bump that hard.
I like Dilla. I always liked Dilla. I'm not a massive Dilla head by any stretch, but I was bumping Champion Sound when it came out, so I've been into it for ages. But the problem with producer-driven albums, when they get so many MCs on it, is that it's like a film where you never get a main character.
The character is the city, isn't it?
Again,
the character is the city.
That's a nice thing. That's a cool thing to say if you're a marketing person. But
listening to it, I thought I got a very rounded idea of what happens and what is going on in these people's lives in a city. That's just because of the title and the album artwork. You see that I love the album artwork, and I was like, oh wow, that's just really gets home where you're going to go.
I hated the album artwork, and it was Grey Sky.
Really?
We were calling, what's it called? Ray was calling Slow Tide Grey Sky's music. Literally, when Grey Sky is on the fucking front cover of this.
Exactly. But it's not Grey Sky's music. It's not Grey Sky's music, though, is it? It's not.
It is.
That's not
really
what it is.
Dull, somber music.
All right, that's incorrect. So I don't really have anything more to say to that.
That's just what I feel. That's just my opinion.
Right.
I'm quite happy to understand that I'm not with the average hip hop. Well, the average 30-something hip hop fan. I'm not in that.
You're down with the kids. Yeah, you said that already. Down with the kids.
I know. I'm not saying that because I love. For instance, DJ High Tech. I always liked his production, but when he came out with his own album, it was never as good because you just had a load of rappers. It's all I want to hear is you with Talib. That's all. And I'm getting so that's an element of this as well. There's just no it's the city. Yeah, okay, right. But the rappers we're having to listen to, none of them. They've all got their own subject. It doesn't match the chorus ever. If there's a chorus, the chorus is generally awful. There's no theme. It just never. We're just hearing a different person.
There is a theme. The theme is Detroit, and that's the whole point about it. And that's what's great. I think it's a strength of the album because it doesn't pretend to be anything else. It's not like it pretends to. It's trying to be one person's album. They just have loads of features to bump it up. It's called Sincerely Detroit, and then it's filled with rappers from Detroit, and it's a real honest thing he's trying to do. It's Apollo Brown is trying to give other people, an opening, shine the light on give other people.
It's a charity album. It's a charity album. Get all your shit rappers from your city. Get them all on one album.
If we're moving on,
no, we're not moving on. I'm still fucking going for his neck. No,
Royce is on this, and I hate the track that Royce is on, and you know how much I love Royce, and I can't listen to that.
That is the most sacrilegious bullshit that you've said this entire fucking time. Can't lose. You're saying Can't Lose is the fucking highlight of this entire. It's the one track that I will be listening to forever for the rest of my life. I'll still be listening.
Most rewindable track. We could categories. When most rewindable track
is Can't Lose, exactly. And the thing is as well, the one when we're doing this podcast still in 20 years from now, touch wood. You can refer back to this. You can refer back to this one episode. What it must it be 38? I don't know how many. That's a random number.
Do numbers, do we?
Good if it was 38.
I think the official title is the one where Jambo got kicked off the podcast.
Yeah. In 20 years' time, Cam, when we're talking about, do you remember that guy that used to be on the podcast, and he went. I don't know.
He didn't like that one album that everyone liked,
and that's what happened. No one knows what's happened to him now. He got into prog rock. Oh, by the way, mate, did anyone listen to the Andrew Emery episode that we did?
Yeah.
I haven't yet. No, not yet.
Mate, DJ David Batty, can we get him? Can someone please find him?
Have you done another one with Andrew Emery? Because I listened to the first one. Have you done another one recently?
No, the first one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Andrew Emery, yeah. Mate, when they're talking DJ David Batty and prog rock, and oh man, either way, DJ David Batty, we need to find you. If you're out there, mate, holler at us. But mate, going on, sorry, I had to just go on that tangent. You say their most rewindable track. Yes, mate. You know mine. God Help Me.
Yeah, you said God
Help Me is the best track on it. It sounds a bit like old Dilated Peoples.
Yeah, God Help Me's incredible.
Incidentally, I don't listen to Dilated Peoples.
To be honest, and that's what's great about this album is that it does have a whole range that appeals to a lot of, appeals to different people. Because I've put together while we're doing this podcast, I put together a separate playlist of all the tracks across all 9 albums that I've been listening to the most, and I've ended up listening to Can't Lose and Dominance, just putting that on repeat. Look, I've only got a 5-minute walk to work, so it's difficult. Like I'll put the Can't Lose on. I've got 3 or 4 other tracks I want to listen to. Oh, I'm at work. Oh fuck. All right then.
Can I ask you a question, Ray? What do you prefer, Glorious or Can't Lose?
Oh fuck, my head's just exploded. That's tough.
This is weird because I fucking love Glorious. Glorious is such a great song, and everything you said about it, I was like, right on. Like when I walk, like Glorious, but whereas I just don't get that with any of these. So I'm trying to find some common ground here, but they just sound so miles apart in quality. I just don't get it. I want
That's
to.
Mad.
I want to be in your gang. I want to be in you guys' gang, but I can't be.
I'd start with Can't Lose and Dominance, and then maybe Jackson's as well.
Jackson's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, mate. Oh Lord, the amount of sadness and yearning in that song. It's just I don't. That's why I don't understand where Jambo's really come from, because I find it quite astounding at times. I'm like, wow, that is the drums on that track are ridiculous. It's just a really incredible piece of work. But like that, even the last verse on that track is fire. And you're like that. You know what I said about Bandana, about going back and be able to pick things out and loving now because you can always rediscover new things. I think this album does work as a playlist kind of album. Horrible, awful to say that, but like, you can separate a lot of these tracks over a 50-track playlist, and you'll get a sprinkling of it throughout, and it fucking bangs.
What you mean you can't listen to it all the way through?
No. What I'm saying is it works really well like that. It also works. I listen to it all the way through. You can't
have it both ways, Jan. But you can't say that you're a 2019 listener, a modern day listener of music, and then talk about listening to an album all the way through, because that's what us granddads from the 90s do. Yeah, it's all about the album. And I would say, you can listen to it all the way through. Have I been listening to it all the way through? No, I've just been putting it on Can't Lose on repeat.
I know that me and you have a very Fox News dynamic, right? But when you just put together my argument in like such a, like, that's not my argument whatsoever. It does feel a bit Daily Mail to me, that does.
Daily Mail. But then another category we've got then, Ray, hottest bars album, the album. I'm enjoying Fat Ray on here. What are you saying? Fat Ray, and I'm talking to Ray, who's ironically the best shape he's ever been in. But Ray,
that's so Partridge.
That's what I was going for. So Ray, yes, go on, man. The hottest bars on the album.
It would be remiss of me not to mention it before we go to the conclusion, because the Elzai's verse on Stopwatch is just fucking next level. That's the standout one. There's one thing that I do usually go on about, so in terms of putting numbers to everything, but Dominance and Can't Lose are the absolute fucking 10s, and the others that I listed before, Jackson's All Day in the Water, Stopwatch, Never, Thoughts in Mind, they're all...
God help me, why are you not listing the best track? It's really winding me up.
Yeah, the best track, the one that you're talking about, they're all 7s. That's what I'd say about this album. It's
7. It's a 10 out of 10 track. Okay.
Well, exactly, but it's in that conversation, is it? It's not like, there's no god awful, oh shit, I've got to skip this track. That's just fucking, and I'm really hesitant to agree with Jambo or anything. There's a lot of the other rappers, all of the rappers on this of this 50, for me, they're all better than Rhapsody. All of them are. There's every single one of them is better.
Came in with that challenge from the side, from nowhere.
I'm not trying to diss, but I'm just going to say where I think their ability is. There are a few on there that I probably want to listen to some more, but that Elzai verse is just fucking next level. It's ridiculous.
Pound for pound, delivering the most fire on features, Elzai at the moment.
Yeah.
I put pound for pound.
The whole
He's
bit,
done a few.
Pick a liner right that's not as wicked as a sick piranha bite, a brick of China.
That's not from this album. That's from the other one. Oh. That's not from this album.
Oh shit, it's not, is it?
Do you even listen to hip-hop, right?
My notes are all mixed up. Hang on a sec.
Elzai is on this album.
Oh yeah, no, it's not that one. Yeah, it's not that verse.
Because that was a good verse, whereas the one that was a great verse, and for some reason on this...
this one's the Hadouken, Nukem Kill. That whole verse. Yeah, it's still ridiculous. Yeah,
okay, go on, spit that one, spit it now.
Every day I light something, write something, you can feel the fire in my palms, Hadouken, Nukem Kill. That whole verse is ridiculous. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Just ridiculous.
Yes, mate, Elzai killing it, man. So bars, fair play to you, mate. There's many on here that I enjoy. I've already made my piece about this album. Let's get into the conclusions, man. We're going ratings out of 10. Jambo, what you saying, man?
It's not like, I'm not going to be I know that people like this and it's not bad. For me, it's a naught. But if I was being, because I'll never listen to this ever again. But if I'm being objective about it, I'd give it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
because you can see it appeals to some people.
Yeah, I can see it appeals to, and it's not bad. It's like the whole thing about Can't Lose. Yeah, that he just doesn't take any risks. There's nothing interesting about it, but he don't do anything terrible either. It's fine.
So it doesn't push the culture forward.
I didn't say. It's the Angus Aberdeen Steakhouse of albums. It's fine if you want to eat in a really average, boring, crap restaurant. Then yeah, go for it. You probably won't get food poisoning. It'll be a really average, bland experience. But good on you.
Incorrect.
Ray, out of 10, what are you saying?
Easy 8. For all the reasons I've already said, but I don't want to go into it, man. I love an Aberdeen Angus steak. There we go.
Steak.
So,
but you know what it is as well, though. I do think just Jambo absolutely nailed it when he said that about nostalgia. I was like, I thought it was me getting old, but there is that kind of underlying theme to how I've consumed music this year more than most. I remember this time of year, last year, there was lots of different things coming out that were pulling me lots of different ways. There has been this year as well. Just look at our selections we're bringing. There's been a lot of variety. There has been. But my favourite albums we're bumping over and over again are of a certain ilk, Bandana being the lead one, and then going on to this, and Skyzoo and other people as well. But even Denzel Curry we're going to talk about, mate, I do think that of some certain type of hip-hop isn't very nostalgic of that type, but we said that before. Out of 10 for me, I'm going to go 8 as well. 8 out of 10, man, with this one.
Boom.
Ray, I'm going to need that 30-second conclusion for you, bro.
Do it.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Not 30 minutes, bloody hell. Imagine. Do you reckon you could talk straight? Should we switch it? Yeah. So we switch the topic.
Yeah. It still wouldn't be as long as the album.
For 30.
Yeah.
But could you talk straight for 30 minutes? But
I reckon.
I don't know if you could.
Let's do it one day. Let's do it one day. Have a countdown. 30 minutes. Go.
Let's go. Right. Okay. Ray. Yeah. Drop it like it's hot, man. Ready, steady, Go.
This is for the fronters and the naysayers. Sincerely, Detroit is a masterclass in beat making. It's an album of some of the most incredible beats made this year. It's a refreshingly honest album, a tribute to Apollo Brown's hometown with over 50 MCs on it from Detroit. But despite that, the album still has an identity and a coherence to it. Dominance and Can't Lose are the standout tracks for me, and again, appropriately describe Sincerely Detroit's place in the album of the year debate. Boom.
Poof, mate, on the nose. Wow, you nailed that time.
Did you get that?
From behind.
Because it dominates and it can't lose.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, thanks.
Why would you...
Explain the joke makes it funny. Yeah, always.
Good work, Ray. Good work. Right, so Sincerely Detroit. I'm just glad we got to talk about that album. I fucking love that one. Next up, though, man, Gangstar, one of the best yet. Let's go.
Boom.
Yo, so just another little break in proceedings. Just a quick shout out to people that we are out there listening to, and we appreciate their support for us as well. And some of those people are Shotgun the Orcs. Yes, they're a UK hip-hop podcast. They're very, very good at what they do. I'm not even sure they really plan to do just UK hip-hop, but they're very good at it. Check them out. They're really insightful. And I kind of shout them out every episode anyway. So people, I never even met them. Never even met the lads, but they seem lovely. And man, so we thought we were going to ask, what are their albums of 2019?
Yo, this is Tom from Shotgun the Orcs podcast, and I'm joined here with my boy Aiden.
What's good,
man? Big up Crate 808, and thanks for having us on your festive special. We're here to talk about our top albums of 2019. So, for a bit of context, as we're a UK-orientated podcast, our choices are a bit of a mixed bag between US and UK artists. So, should we kick things off?
Yes, let's do this.
Let's do this, man. So, I know it's always a contentious topic putting a list like this together due to the subjective nature of music in general. But the way we kind of did this is to think about what pops into our head at first when we think about it. So kicking things off for me, I don't think it'll be much of a surprise when I say that it is the Freddie Gibbs and Mad Lib album this year, Bandana. I think it's just an incredible album of like coke-fueled street tunes over Mad Lib's incredible beats. I think he recorded it on an iPad, didn't he?
If that's true, man, then that's fucking impressive. I mean, it's difficult. We used to do the podcast on an iPad, and it's difficult enough, isn't it?
he definitely did a better job on an iPad than we ever did,
For sure.
But I saw these guys earlier in the year live, and they absolutely smashed it. Probably not as seminal as Pinata, but still, Bandana is up there for album of the year for me. My next choice across the pond is a Bristol-based rapper called Dat Kid. The album is with producer Leaf Dog of the Four Owls, and the album is Confessions of a Crud Lord. This is a sick album. That Kid was on our podcast as a guest earlier this year where he talked about it. I would recommend that for US listeners who don't know about him. Go and check it out. Confessions of a Crud Lord, That Kid. My next choice is Hiding Places, the album by New York-based rapper Billy Woods and producer Kenny Siegel. It's kind of a depressing, moody hybrid of introspective rap over some really, really interesting, unorthodox beats. I feel like I need a shower every time I need to hear this, every time I listen to this, because it's just so fucking dark. However, it's definitely one to listen to. He's very overlooked as well, so I'd really, really recommend it. Aiden, how about you, man?
So my top albums are reel these off. So one of the top albums I would say is Green Diesel by a Dublin rapper called Kojak and Luca Palmer. I'd second that Bandana album. Again, second Confession of a Crud Lord by Dat Kid. I'd have to go Eagle Court as well by Compound.
Eagle Court Compound.
Yes.
So another UK
and Coastline to Cityscape by Lazy Eyes. Oh, but nice. It's difficult, isn't it, doing your top albums, man. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Just want to shout out all the UK heads doing their thing. Check out High Focus, check out Blah, check out Green Brick Records, check out stuff by Yogo Cop, check out Off License Mag. Big up all yourselves, doing your thing.
And I think like a few honourable mentions before we sign out. I've got to say Eve, Rhapsody, Gangstar, one of the best yet. Slow Tie, Nothing Great About Britain, Little Sims, Grey Area, Foreign Beggars, Matriarchy, and Verbs, Pathways. So we've been Shotgun the Orcs at Shotgun the Orcs, available on all digital platforms and YouTube. Episodes dropping every other week. Big up Crate 808, doing big things. Happy New Year, motherfuckers.
So 2019, man, we got blessed a little bit here with a Gangstar album out of nowhere. I did not see it coming, and I knew, soon as it dropped, do you know what? Ray's probably going to want to bring... I've not even heard it yet, but Ray's probably going to want to bring this to the end of the year debate. And here he is with it in his hand, cock in the other hand, ready, just masturbating extremely slowly as he talks.
It's just far too graphic, isn't it? What can you say? Anyway, so it's Gang Starr. It's Guru over Primo. Is it their best album? Of course not. Of course not. How could it be? Because Hard to Earn is ridiculous.
What is?
It's ridiculous. Wait, what did you just say?
I said, which one is their best album?
Hard to Earn.
Moment of Truth is...
No, Hard to Earn.
I mean, Hard to Earn's amazing. I love Hard to Earn. That probably is my favourite album, to be fair.
Yeah.
But Moment of Truth is there.
It's up there. Anyway, the point is we're talking about one of the best yet. Is it one of the albums of the year? Of course it is. How could it not be? It's Guru over Primo. Now, Guru he's not a top 5 MC for me, but what he was... was a master of was keeping it simple. He made hip hop so accessible for everyone. It's so easy to understand for anyone, and I think that's a big part of their success. So, what you're saying before, Cam, about how there was no real announcement for it. So the reveal came with the first release of Family and Loyalty, which is another perfect Primo beat. And there's just something like ethereal about it. It's like the beat is not of this world somehow, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It's just because the way the beat is, it works perfectly for a track reintroducing us to Guru's voice, which I guess also is not of this world. Rest in peace. But J. Cole also absolutely smashes it. He follows the brief exactly, sticks to the subject like not many do, and I think that's another one of the tunes that when I put together that, like I said, I put together the playlist of the albums of the year, playlist of all my favorite tracks off all these albums. Family and Loyalty is another one that I always come back to.
Is it Family and Loyalty the one that they did a music video for?
I don't know. No, I don't think so, did they?
That's Diamond, isn't it? Oh no, that is the same track.
Same track. Yeah, same track.
Like a freshly cut diamond. They did do a video for it. Have you seen the video for that track?
I don't consume visual media in any way.
Primo obviously love Gang Starr. I'm wearing a Gang Starr tee right now. Actually, just thinking about it. If you think like J. Cole, I love the idea of him working with someone like Premier to get him just on that radar again. But it's interesting what they say about that. Track that J. Cole told Premier to drop it first as the first single, so people of his age, like his demo, would kind of get interested in the album. But that music video, man, I love them all, but that is a bad music. That's one of the worst music videos I've seen from hip hop.
Oh, is it?
It's like. Yeah, it's not bad like
the other one's
everything about it, all the archive footage and stuff like that is amazing. Those bits are great, and there's a Gang Starr doc coming out, so I'm sure that's all going to be in that doc, which is going to be amazing to watch. But there's something about it, the way it's shot, it just seems so. I was like, wow, like did they have no money, or like maybe it was that, I don't know what it was, but either way, it doesn't destroy the album for me at all. I love this album, but no, I just wondered if you'd seen the video and was it me or was it whatever. But either way,
I'm watching it now, and I've not got the sound on, but. It's pretty bad, some of the stuff that is in the archival. Oh, and they're giving out diamonds in the street.
Yeah,
I
love the idea of it. I do. It's just something about the execution. I was like, I don't know. Something, did not click for me. But fucking Gang Starr, man. Exactly. One of the best yet. So, Raymond, if you're talking...
we need
to... Before we dive in, that intro, like, possibly the best thing on this whole album is that intro. Like, I don't think I've ever heard... Well, not ever, that's ridiculous. But I've not think I've heard a track... I've not heard a track that kicks off an album that gives me actual goosebumps.
Yeah.
That, for me, was, like, kind of worth it. It was just like, wow, just hearing that.
It just takes you on a journey, doesn't it? It's just... You react, and then the next one comes, and the next one comes, and the next one comes. You're like, fuck, there's just so many fucking tunes. It's incredible. Yeah.
I know. And then you got that MOP verse as well. What's he saying again? An old man once said, fuck what an old man once said.
It's so good.
It's so ignorant Timberland boot, fucking chest beating hip hop. He's like, I'm here for it. I'm walking on my own in a really cold little Derbyshire village, but that has transported me straight to the Bronx in like 1996, and people kicking the shit out of each other.
I love that. And that track. I'm a big fan of that track. Anyway, I was going to talk about it, but I was so on the third verse. There's a bit on there that I was loving it, but this is actually not what he says. But I thought he said, "I'll help you see exactly who Ja Rule is," and I was like, "That'd be fucking quality." Like in terms of nostalgia, I didn't know anyone still had beef with Ja Rule. I thought that was all done with. But oh shit, the kids aren't even going to know who Ja Rule is, surely, or is he like a TV star now? I don't know. Because the next after that,
no, didn't he do? Wasn't he part of the festival? He was part of that festival, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
That got
Fire Festival. Yeah,
Firefest.
Is it?
Firefest? That was Ja Rule, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Did you ever see that Slack? Did you ever see that meeting they're having over Slack or like Google or something? And like they're literally like, well, we can't be done by the police. And I'm thinking, if I was ever in a meeting like that at work, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And Ja Rule's just sitting there like, yeah, but I mean, it's not really our fault, is it? Technically, Ja Rule is a piece of shit.
Whoa!
Either way,
whoa! That's on record, everyone.
Come on, clap back.
No Ja Rule interview in the future when there's people call you and you're like, oh fuck, I could have got Ja on the podcast.
Would you let me sacrifice my morals to get Ja Rule on this podcast?
Ja Rule would be great to listen to. I'd love to hear his stories.
Yeah. What's that album? Is it Veni Veti Vici, that one? Was that
there's some decent tracks on that.
Yeah, I remember, Cam, I remember you buying that. I remember.
Maybe I should.
Cam.
Looks like hold on, are you two massive Ja Rule heads? When did you two become bandana wearing, topless, tattoo chested? When did that become a thing? How come I'm the odd guy out here?
Well, now we're on it. Either way, he didn't say Ja Rule. He says
say Ja Rule.
I hope you see exactly who John Woo is. I'm like, well, why are you talking about John Woo movies? I don't know. Anyway, so
because John Woo has a lot of guns.
What John movie is this album? That's what I'm going to say. You know what this one is? It's the one he did after Face Off. Whichever that is, this is the album. Either way, yeah. Go on.
I'll load up IMDb and find that out. I was going to ask you, are MOP the best hip hop act to never put out a classic album?
Oh,
yeah.
Warrior. I don't remember. That was a good album, though.
They've got like okay albums, but they don't have any like really good.
No, they've just got a couple of massive tracks, haven't they?
Yeah, they do, and they're spread out.
I think they may be one of the groups that actually may deserve a revisit, and just to see, because I'm not actually sure. No. So I was revisiting Smith & Wesson, I was like, fuck, they were actually really fucking good. So yeah, I don't know, maybe. I can't say off the top of my head other groups that haven't. The Locks, I suppose the first one was good. First one was great.
Yeah, Locks are they're sort of the same. They're probably more successful, like single wise, when they were just themselves rather than when they were the Locks, if anything, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, maybe.
By the way, I've got an update for you. The next movie that John Woo made after Face Off, he made a TV movie called Blackjack, but then he made Mission Impossible 2. So this is the Mission Impossible 2 of Gangstars, John Woo.
Do you know what? I forgot he did Mission Impossible 2, and that is a great fucking film. Absolutely brilliant film.
No, it's not. It's awful.
Yes, it is. That's one where he's climbing the mountain at the front at the beginning, and then he looks around and you're like, boom, zooming at John Woo, motherfuckers. Where's the doves at?
Do you remember that? Do you remember that time we were doing that podcast though, and we were talking about that Gangstar album? Do you remember that?
Come on, Ray. Come on, then. What else you saying? This album? Yeah, sorry, everyone who's listening. We did go on some tangents there, but one of the best. Yeah, let's go. Come on.
So after Family and Loyalty came.
Can
you just interrupt me again? Just keep interrupting, Cam. That's all you do. Anyway, it's fine. I'm just when you give me these tracks to edit, I'm just gonna fucking edit you out anyway.
You make your own version of the podcast. That's what I do. That's what I do after the podcast comes out. I download it and then just make my own version. Which is being right all the time.
Oh, I've seen that. Is it Crate 809?
Yeah, exactly.
Escalator style. It's escalator.
Do you want me to give you the numbers on it? The numbers are 1. That's it.
Go on then, Ray.
So after that came Bad Name, another ridiculous classic Primo beat. It's Guru making comment on the state of music. What's weird about it is that obviously when Guru recorded this, he was talking about the bling era, which he says in it, but somehow some of the stuff that he says on this is still relevant today. And then he has a mention as well about how if Big and Pac was still here, which is I don't know. It's just weird to hear because obviously he's talking about the tragedy of two people dying and no longer be with us, and then him saying that as well. I don't know. It's just that's why I think there's a lot of thought has been put into. I imagine Primo has a shitload of lyrics that Guru hasn't used anywhere, and it must.
No, he hasn't actually. He hasn't.
Has he not?
Did a bit of no. Did you hear? Do you know the story of how this album came together? It's a bit weird.
Oh no, no, I don't know at all.
He obviously him and Guru weren't friends for about 6 years before he died. And like he was basically really good friends with a guy called DJ Solar, who he described as his new DJ, and DJ Premier was his ex-DJ. And he didn't talk to Premier for all that time, and then he died. And like there was a weird thing where he died, and this guy DJ Solar said and produced this note that he said that Guru had written that was saying that like, oh, I don't want DJ Premier to have anything to do with any of my any future albums or anything like that. It's only DJ Solar who can produce any of my posthumous albums. And like a lawyer found that they sort of came to the conclusion through a lawyer, and you know how much money that must cost, and this bloke probably didn't have much. I don't know. DJ Solar doesn't sound like a great guy, but basically he lost the case that he was like bequeathed all this music that Guru had made. And like really, like as DJ Premier said, like why would he not give it to his son? And then Premier bought 30 Guru tracks off of DJ Solar. And like at the end of the case and stuff like that, and like that's what this is made up of. So there's not actually that much for him to use, which is interesting.
Oh right.
And that's why Freddie Fox says on Goo and Them, I never let Solar rest. It's a little bit of a diss to DJ Solar, but like it's all a bit weird and contentious. And I kind of found it a bit strange listening to the album because it's like he didn't. I mean, yeah, probably DJ Solar shouldn't have been making a posthumous album. But then should DJ Premier? But then maybe he's giving the money to Guru's kids. It's all a bit weird. And it felt a bit strange. Like on what's it called? You know, Family and Loyalty. Did you notice that there's a scratch where he goes, "I'm cashing checks with Premier on the jam." He's basically like edited out whoever Guru was saying in that lyric, cashing checks with whoever it was on the jam. It's fucking a bit weird listening to it like that. So yeah, that's the story behind it.
Yeah, shit. No, I didn't know any of that. I mean, there's some of it. What's weird about, I guess, these lyrics taken out of context is that like it doesn't always follow through. Like some of them, Guru talks about taking home loads of chicks, and the next time he talks about how much he loves his wife, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? You can tell that it's been taken over. That's why I presumed it was taken over a long period of time, and obviously from Primo. But that's weird that when you come up with that story, it kind of gives a different. Different version of it.
So two things then. First of all, did you see the Solar thing that he did when the album dropped?
No.
Like a really salty Instagram where it was like, new Solar and Guru album out, produced by DJ Solar and all this, and you're like, that is so salty, man.
What, did he make a DJ Solar album version of it?
No, he was just saying this is like, what? Either way, yeah, it was salty.
What
it was
weird
salty.
Dude. That makes me think he's definitely like, that's weird, yeah.
Well, no one knows if he can, who wrote that letter, like who signed that letter. No one was there. It's only him. I think. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the case. But yeah, there are rumours that it was. Not many people know who actually signed that letter.
But really, I don't hate on DJ Premier for it. Like, even if it is a bit weird that like he didn't speak to Guru for all that time. But there's a few moments where, and like on interviews, he's been talking about how the money goes to Guru's children, and there's a few lyrics about it. So. Was a DJ Solar and Guru album going to do as much money as this? No. So, like, let's move on, I think, with it. It's a bit weird, but, like, I'm with DJ Premier on this.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this album, for me, I just find it astounding that he's done as much as he has with the amount of limitations he had on him. And I think that on its own is, like, an admirable piece of, like, production where you're like, wow, you've actually managed to do this. I thought it's a solid album and some fucking killer highlights on there. I don't know. I just don't know if it really. The first listen wowed me, like, but the second listen, like, lights out. Fucking love that track. There's some really good killer highlights, but I'm not sure if it's really going to make me revisit it that much as an album. I don't know. I find myself now at the end of the year looking at albums like that I've listened to, and I'm glad I've revisited, like Malibu Ken and Maxo Cream and stuff like that, where you think, oh yeah, it's nice to go back and even Kano's album, like that's another album where revisiting has really paid off. I need to do the same with this I want to see where I'm at in a few months, because it came out, quite late in the year. I just haven't revisited in the whole album, but I really like it. I think there's some solid bits. I can see there's an argument for like simple lyrics, but it's Guru, man. That's what he's been doing for time. I can't believe he did this much with this, like, not that much to go with.
There's one part of this album which confused me a lot, because I was like, hang on, I know that voice. And then I'm like, but what's he doing? You know the track Hitman? I don't know if you know the story to this one as well, but why is Q-Tip making gun sounds? I don't get it.
I thought it was great.
I hate that track. I hate that track.
Really?
Yeah, it was so stupid.
It is. It does sound. Okay, I've got it written down here. It's just look, me saying it isn't going to sound the right thing. It makes it sound more ridiculous.
It's not Q-Tip doing that like chorus type thing, is it? Though?
It is. Yeah, you got the bag pop.
Yeah, he's on the hook.
It's in the sling. Here it is. Let it ring with the do. It's just. I'm like, what are you?
It's fucking brilliant.
But how did that come about? Because it's not Q-Tip today, is it? It's from way back. It's like something that.
No,
surely.
I think Q-Tip must have come through for that. Q-Tip would have probably come through for that.
Yeah, Q-Tip's on the scene.
Yeah, no, because remember he was chasing Nas for a feature. He was chasing people for features. So yeah, he would come through for that.
But what are they talking about? He's making gun sounds. Are we not talking about the same thing?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
The whole thing is like,
I'm here for it.
He's a really badass assassin and he's really cool and really clever and he kills people. I don't give a fuck. It's so irritating when he's like, oh, the bling culture, I hate the bling culture. Well, no, and like he's pretending he's talking about like guns and assassins. It was just stupid. It was annoying.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we're doing stupid, I'm amazed it took this long to get to the one track I thought we were going to have a lot of fun with, and that is the Neo song.
Oh God, fuck
like me. That. Oh my God, I don't know why. Like, why would you? You've got this piece of work. You've got a lot of gaps to fill. I get that, but why would that be the track that you listen to afterwards in the 4th, 5th vetting process and be like, that kind of fits? It doesn't fit at all. Like, it doesn't fit any part of this album. It doesn't take me on anywhere I want to go. It's just forcibly dragging me to having to confront my young 16-year-old R&B loving silk shirt wearing self being like, oh fuck, I used to love this. Like, I used to love 112 and fucking Jagged Edge and all that shit, and be like, yeah, let's go. Neo on that track is bringing that horrible memory of how it could sound now, and 2, why are you doing it on this album? Like, why is this on this album? That track, I know you said Slow Tie, the whole album's awful. Well, this is how you must feel, because that track, I just can't.
I honestly blocked it out. I've just automatically skipped it.
Yeah, I did. I'd forgotten it was on there.
I've skipped it every time. But I think that's something. Yeah. That's something that unites all of us and all the listeners, because everyone else will be like, oh yeah, we skip that. No one's listened to that track. Everyone's like, Neo's on this. Hang on, let me just have a quick look back. Yeah, he's on there as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's on this. You're right. I forgot he was.
Isn't it Neo?
No, who cares? It's track 9. People are just like, oh, we don't track 9. We just didn't realize that was there. We just skipped over it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sad thing. Like, we're talking about album of the year. Your other 2 you've brought, I mean, they're stronger on that case alone, which is like,
they don't have Neo on them.
Not really skippable.
Yeah,
and not skippable. But it's Premiere, man. It's that odd thing, isn't it? Like, I can't kill my heroes, man. It's Premiere, and it's like, yeah, I'll let him off.
But yeah, no, it's brought up. You know, Royce kills it on this as well, and then it's got the Militia Part 4. It's another great installment of that. You know,
mate, Royce talking about Guru's ashes on the soundboard is fucking brilliant. Them actually being there as well is fucking great. If we're talking categories, then, man,
can I give my opinion?
Have you not given your opinion?
No, I'm not giving my opinion. Sometimes I do feel like I am, what's the name of that radio? I'm like the Comedy Dave to your, what's his name? Phil something or other, on Radio 1. I occasionally just say something, occasionally you let me talk. And then...
Oh, you talking about Chris Moyles?
Chris Moyles, yeah, you're the Chris Moyles of this podcast.
I fucking hate Chris Moyles.
You are, you're Chris Moyles.
Please don't compare me to Chris Moyles. Jesus Christ. Just call yourself Psychic Simon, and I'm Alan Parsons.
Psychic Simon. I'm not going to continue with that. Yeah. So I sort of basically go with what you guys are saying. Like, it's it's a decent album. It's a decent Gang Starr album. My issue is I can't get to the end of this without saying something that's going to really upset Ray. I just can't do it. Can't do it. Well, first of all, let's start off. Out of the two members of Gang Starr, who is the better artist?
No,
you got to listen to. You got to listen to all their projects and all their output. You're going to listen to DJ Premier every time.
Of course.
There's no one's really. I mean, Jazzmatazz had a couple of tracks that were good, but no one really gives a shit about anything that Guru's got to say when he's not on a Premier beat.
100%.
And like, I can't help but I realise I actually love Gang Starr most when there's guests. When it's just Guru, I actually don't find him that interesting. I think he's not a bad rapper, and at times he does, like, you know, there's loads of Gang Starr tracks that I love, but I've never been a Gang Starr fanboy just because I'm not that into Guru. I think he's like, I think he makes Rakim look really an exciting, charismatic person.
He is. He looks like the life. Exciting, charismatic person.
Not,
he is, yeah, exactly.
He's not.
I agree. He's great. I agree. He's great. Thank
he's
you.
He's a monotone monolith. Guru's never been my thing, and I always do think to myself, what if Freddie Fox had been the other half of Gang Starr? What a much better. Freddie Fox is so much better rapper than Guru. It's crazy. He steals the show every time. Every Militia song, and this is the weakest of the Militia songs. He's the best on it every time.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is the weakest. I think it's good that they did have another installment of something that's featured on previous Gang Starr albums. Yeah. But yeah, no, this is...
Yeah, I don't know. I like Guru for what he is. I think on this, you can tell some of the lyrics are dated, but it was good to hear his voice over Primo beats. I mean, that's what kind of got me.
Where do you think he sits in the top 20? Is he top 20 for you? He's not for me, personally.
No, I mean, that's the thing. I think with Guru, it's always been like the weird thing with Guru is, I'm not sure how I would put his body of work into a category as that top 20, but his lyrics are definitely top 10 most hit me hardest as a kid. So like the whole, My Steez, that whole track, I remember as a kid blowing my mind, and I learned that track.
What do you think, Ray? He is one of Rakim's like sons. Along with Cannabis and who else would be? Eminem obviously is one of his sons as well.
Definitely.
Much more interesting. Eminem's the most interesting.
I agree.
I think we are all Rakim's sons.
Yeah, Guru's very much, he's, entry level, basically. He's like, oh, you've never heard hip-hop before. This is what when the aliens come to the planet and they're like, oh, what's hip-hop? Like, all right, I've got this playlist ready for you, but first, listen to Guru. That'll get you warmed up into listening to rapping, and then you can listen to this playlist.
They'd be like, this is rubbish.
But then he does have like, I don't know,
but it's
Lemonade is a good drink and it still is. It's like that kind of thing, like that's quite cult. It has a cult thing. He has a lot of Mass Appeal alone. That my favourite Guru line of all time is Mass Appeal, when he's like a seashore, I'm calm and wild, I'm monotone style. Like, I'll always remember that as one of my favourite lyrics of all time. So I can't, like, Mass Appeal is one of my favourite tracks of all time. So Guru has something, I have a lot of affection for him. On this, I didn't find it like stood out bad. It was like, oh, Guru, it never blew my mind either, but it was just solid Guru. But I would say if you're talking about this album of the year, again, I'm just going back to, what do you get from this album that's different from Retropolitan or Sincerely Detroit? Like, really?
Because
what's the differential between those?
That's the thing with it, is everything that we've just been speaking about, and the Jambo's little story, the story about the background of how it came about, all of it is it's a window into, and it says something about what J. Cole's reason for, the recommendation to release Family and Loyalty first. It's a window for new listeners into that whole history. They're like, if anyone that likes this, are like, wait, what the hell is this? And then to go back and discover Hard to Earn and Moment of Truth and all. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what this album does, and that's why it's important, and that's why it's one of the front runners for album of the year, because it's a window into that, and because once you discover that, Guru is for the new listener to hip hop is easy to understand, and if you get into that and you're like, all right, I'm up for listening to something a little more interesting or more experimental or something that's pushing the culture forward, then it's a window into the world of hip hop, to listen to everyone else that Primo's worked with. Yeah, I think that's why it's an important album, because it's nostalgia for people who do already know that history and do already know about 90s hip hop, and it's a window into that. It's a gateway for new people.
I think it's a terrible gateway for new people.
Fucking hell. It's always got to say polar opposite of Ray. You can't just give us beautiful. That was so beautifully articulated. I almost had a tear in my eye.
I thought it was a nice argument, that, but go on, Jumbo.
Go on, Jumbo, ruin it for us. Go on, thanks. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate.
I've got this fresh, beautiful, like amazing weed that we could smoke, but first let's get some old janky solids that I've scraped off the inside.
This is such an absolute false equivalent. It's ridiculous. There's nothing like it. It's completely irrelevant.
Metaphor.
It's not. No, you don't know what a brilliant metaphor is. You've never said one or heard one.
Listen to it. What I was saying was scraping resin off of the inside of a bong. It's already smoked weed. Like, that's what this is. We're just scraping a load of stuff that's already been made, like other tracks, and putting it together and smoking it again. Whereas, in fact, let's just go with the fresh stuff, the stuff that came out in the 90s. Brilliant metaphor, stepped all over.
When we get older, and we're talking about Gangstar to our kids and grandkids, or whatever, and we're all, our 60th birthdays, we're bumping some Gangstar, is there going to be much off? Are we going to talk about this album? Are we going to talk about this album? We may well do. I think I'll talk about the intro more than anything. Like, just that flashback was amazing. There's plenty of great tracks on here, good verses. But just thinking of context of it, like album of the year, the other album, there's quite a few that we've picked throughout our 9 that are genuinely going to be talked about in 20 years for me. But if we're talking about categories,
which ones are they, Cam?
Bandana straight away. I'm going to talk about yours next episode. We're going to talk about yours next episode, my friend. Don't want to spoil it.
I don't think any of these albums will be spoken about in 20 years' time, by the way. That's a whole different thing. Because next year, even more incredible albums will come out, and the next year, and the next year. The only thing, like in 20 years' time,
but
Can't Lose will be on, and we'll all be bopping our heads to it. And, all right, carry on.
No, but okay, let's get to the categories. Most rewindable track. Come on, drop it.
I don't want to go to the obvious one, but I think it's Family and Loyalty. J. Cole absolutely kills it. He absolutely smashes it on this.
Really?
Yeah, no, that's the one I've
not
gone back
Lights
to.
Out?
Not Lights Out, because
mate, that little kind of buzzing, that kind of buzzing beat.
I felt bad for Ja Rule. That's what it was. I just No, I mean. The thing, you know what? I did listen to the Hitman track. I have listened to that a lot as well, because as much as I took the piss out of Q-Tip making gun sounds, I do actually really love it. I find it pretty funny. It's like it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It sounds great.
But it is his Griselda audition, isn't it? It's like Griselda were like, no, you're they were like, no thanks, Q-Tip, we don't really like that. And then Primo was like, oh, we'll have that.
We've got to do a debate on best ad-libs, by the way, because West Side Gun's quickly rising up the ranks for ad-libs at the moment for me. But other category I have for you here, mate. This is a perfect example. This is a perfect album for what 90s rapper should be on here. I'm going straight in with mine, which would be Nas. But, why is there not a Nas feature on this album? Nas over Premier, yes please, let's go again. I'm so here for that. What are you saying, Ray?
Yeah, no, Nas is the one. Nas is the one that jumps in. I would have just said Rakim, but I guess Rakim, we've already established in previous pods that he's an 80s rapper, so all right, fine. But
no, he worked in the 90s, so he still is in the 90s.
Boom, then Rakim, always Rakim. Imagine similar to what Jambo said before about not really feeling Guru's rhymes. Imagine if it wasn't. I don't want to speak ill. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but just imagine if it was Rakim, well, just Rakim over Primo. That album. That's it.
Yeah,
it'd be better. It would definitely be better, for sure.
That's what we live for. Isn't it? Yeah. So when this ages, right, what's going to age the worst on this album?
I'll tell you.
Go on.
The boring old fart type lyrics about how hip-hop was like, it used to be better before when I was young, but when I got older, I didn't like it as much because no one liked me as much. I hate that shit. I fucking hate that shit. Oh, wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it be better if we just did all the old shit all the time? It's fucking like Brexit rap. I hate it.
Oh, because what you prefer is if people push the culture forward. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, hello.
There he is.
No,
he says it in as many different ways as he wants to try and avoid saying it, but that's
I just think the best and the brightest musicians to stay in their country, stay in their area, and not come over to hip hop and actually, like, you know, ruin it. And like, yeah, you know, I'm of the UKIP. I'm joking, by the way. I fucking wish that, I don't know, DJ Premier just was doing a different MC, not moaning about, like...
Just give me Prime. Give me the next Prime project.
Yeah, well, then make it better than the last one, because that wasn't very... And I love Royce, but Prime 2 was not that great.
What? I love Prime. Either way, marks out of 10. One of the best yet. Jumbo, what are you giving it?
6.
Okay, higher than I thought.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 7.5, man. 7.5 for me on this album. What are you saying,
I don't
Ray?
think you can have 0.5 because it makes it out of 20. But anyway, I would...
Okay, 7.
All right, so I'd say I'd give it... I was going to say 7, but it's too high. 6. He gets a 6. It gets a 6.
What?
Yeah, he gets a 6.
So hold on. This whole 12 months, there's not been... You're saying to me, there's not been another 7 rated album. You've only got 2 over 7 rated albums. That can't be true, because I know for a fact Blues album with Damu the Fudge Monk is fucking an 8. And the reason I didn't bring it is because you were supposed to bring it, then Gangstar released theirs, and then you didn't bring it, and now it's one of my honorable mentions, and no one's going to talk about that album, and everyone should be listening to... Stop listening to this and listen to that new Blue album. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I just don't understand it.
Understand my rating.
I don't understand
my
it.
6 is still high for me. You guys casually throw around, oh, this is a 10, this is a 10, this is a 10, everything's a 10, and it's not a fucking 10, which means...
No, never.
Exactly.
Look at my... Look at my letterbox.
I'm just
profile,
saying, in
mate.
general, when you rate something, we think, oh, this is good, you rate it really high, you don't give yourself any room for anything to...
No, look at my letterbox reviews, and I rate my favourite films at 3.5 out of 5.
I'm just going to power through, because you don't know when to stop talking. When I'm saying this is a 6...
You're the one that's still talking.
When I'm saying this is a 6, that's letting you know when I gave Apollo Brown an 8, that's how much better this is.
So, Ray, are you ready for your 30-second conclusion for this album then, mate?
Let's do it.
Okay, ready, steady, go.
When it comes to albums of the year, one of the best yet is... Wait for it. One of the best yet. Of course it is. It's an album of DJ Premier Beats with his partner in crime, Guru, rhyming from Beyond the Grave, rest in peace, Gangstar. Imagine the emotional journey Primo went on to get this to us. It's an album of a reunion of mates, and it's beautiful.
Oh, you know how to get me going, don't you? Reunion of mates.
I do.
I love mates. So yeah, good work. Good way to get into my good books. Right, so we're going to catch you after the break, and we're going to find out definitive conclusion. What is the album of the year from Ray Ridge's selection? Let's go.
Boom.
Yo, so just another break before we move on. Just a shout out, podcast out there that we've been listening to and really enjoying, Breaking Atoms, man. Yeah, the boys out there, they're doing their thing. They've got a deep back catalogue, and they've got, very, very insightful, very passionate, and man, just really, really interesting voices to listen to about the world of hip-hop. And they got game, and they know what they're talking about. So we asked them what were their albums of the year, and they dropped us a big one. They went in, mate. So get ready for like 10 minutes of like favourite 2019 chat coming up. But I back all their choices. Yes, all heavy. And isn't it weird that Bandana and Eve are actually getting a lot of love, but not by the two lads who I've got on the actual Crate 808 podcast? Maybe I need to rethink my hiring strategy for next year. Either way, here we go. Check them out. Breaking Atoms. And yes, I'll catch you on the flip side.
It's the Breaking Atoms podcast. Summit here with Chris. A big shout out to our friends Crate 808 who've asked the duo here, the dynamic duo, to put together their top five hip hop albums.
He said favorite albums. But because your hip hop knowledge is limited.
It's limited in that.
It's limited. So you've come up with your best 5. I'll come up with, I'll just come up with a random list off the top of the dome, and I've got I'm not gonna lie, I've got like a little playlist here with some of the albums I listened to this year. The ones that I really liked.
Okay.
And hopefully we can put some of our listeners and their listeners on to some good music.
I'm sure we'll be able to do that, especially with your aficionado knowledge.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So I'll go with my 5 that I've got in no particular order.
Shoot.
Rhapsody Eve.
Great album.
I definitely have replayed that many times over the last few months. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Freddie Gibbs and Madlib Bandana.
I think that's the hip hop album of the year.
Love that album.
I know I came out the gate early with that statement, but that album, it's quite poignant that you brought that album up, because I remember we bought Pinata.
Yes.
You bought the vinyl that day and I bought the CD that day.
Yes.
Do you think it's better than Pinata?
At the moment, yes.
Me too.
I think that chemistry between those two could still go on. I don't want to jinx and ask them to make more. I think they should stick with the two, and I think it'll be a nice thick collection to have just Pinata and Bandana.
Yeah, definitely.
Day Psychodrama,
amazing album.
I really enjoyed that album. Apollo Brown, Sincerely Detroit, to keep it a bit underground. And the one that surprised me was Little Brother.
Why did it surprise you?
Because I didn't expect it to come out.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was coming out.
Did it surprise you in terms of it being released, not quality wise?
Not the quality. I mean that. I think Crisis, the Soul Council, the work that they all did was exceptional.
So look, man, in no particular order, because I buy a lot of albums.
Yes.
Just like you, I think some of the best albums this year, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, Bandana. I really enjoyed Little Brother, May the Lord Watch. That album to me was like a celebration and a homecoming. It was just great to listen to, man, and just to hear Fontaine Pooh, the chemistry they had. And one thing about Little Brother's music that I want to say really impacts me is just it's music that grows with you.
Yeah.
So even as you listen to it later in life and as you get on, it's still pretty relevant and you can hear new things. Blue and Damu the Fudge Monk.
Okay.
They released a really short album. It was only 8 songs.
Yeah.
But it's called Ground and Water. Blue is on a roll. I think he released about 2 albums, 3. He released one last week. His other album with Ono, called A Long Red Hot Los Angeles Summer Night. Excellent album. Yuck by Anoid and Static Selector. Shout out to Static Selector. He also did an album with Currency called Gran Turismo, it's just brilliant. It's just Static Selector is just reliable. For me, he doesn't necessarily push the envelope, but why should he when he just gives me high quality music all the time?
If it's not broke, don't fix it. He's a producer you can trust.
Absolutely. So, Soul Power, by A1, great album. Benny the Butcher. I'm not gonna put the plugs I met on there because it's an EP. I'm gonna be picky.
Stop telling your album.
It's an EP, but he's also just released an EP with Smoke Dizza.
Yes, he did. They did
produced by Pete Rock.
Yes.
And Pete Rock this year has been. It's crazy to say Pete Rock might be my favorite producer of the year. 25 years in.
Yeah.
Because leading on
he's
from
been
Pete Rock,
he's putting work in.
That Skyzoo Retropolitan album is serious.
Yeah.
It's serious out here. It's serious out here. Joel Ortiz. Monday, great album. He had production on there from Apollo Brown, who executive produced the album as well, which was really cool.
I mean, work they've done together has been pretty exceptional.
Yeah, they haven't missed yet.
High standard.
Yeah, they haven't missed yet. Yeah. So Joel Ortiz, Monday, awesome album. Some of the albums that were a bit under the radar, in my opinion, but were still great. Lot and Abraham by El Camino.
Okay.
If you're into like Griselda and all that kind of stuff, then So Lot and Abraham by El Camino was a great album, and also Gets Greater Later, Flea Lord. Yeah. He's done some stuff with Griselda too. Shout out to DJ Muggs.
Okay.
Let's shout out Muggs. The legend. No myth, just the legend, right? So he released 2 albums this year with Mac Homie.
Okay.
He did an album with Crime Apple.
Crime Apple's dope though.
Crime Apple's my favorite.
You put me onto Crime Apple.
Did I?
Yes.
I can claim that?
You can claim you put me onto Crime Apple.
Crime Apple's dope.
Crime Apple is excellent.
Yeah, he's really good. I really like him. Another album that's great, Holy Water by Big Kahuna OG and Fly Anakin. So if you're into like really dusty, smoked out type music, they're 2 members of Mutant Academy.
Fly Anakin is another one you put me onto.
Yeah. So, see, well, I still got it, man. I still got the juice, mate. You know what's gonna be very controversial?
Go on.
One of my favorite albums of the year.
Go on.
Could be up, like I'm talking up there, high.
Go on.
El Capo by Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, that's an excellent album.
Woo.
I could go as far. Like, I didn't put it on my top 5, but it's definitely he's the most improved rapper that I didn't think I don't think he wouldn't have been there. When I saw El Capo, I was like, it's gonna be Jim. I know what to expect from Jim.
But I think it's because he had Heatmakers on there, bro. That really tipped the scale in his favor.
I think that album was well put together.
Absolutely.
I think it's definitely a strong contender for album of the year.
Me too.
Hip-hop.
Me too.
Revenge of the Dreamers, I never got to finish.
I just bought that yesterday.
I didn't get to finish it all the way through, but as
Benny wasn't on it, and Benny went to the studio session, so I'm upset.
Okay.
Nah, I can't mess with that.
But no, El Capo.
Yeah.
The reason I put it in my top 5 is because it's more like I wasn't expecting it to be that good. That shouldn't take away from the fact that Jim Jones put an excellent album together. Just I didn't expect it to be that good.
I hear you. Yeah. Can I reel off a list of names?
Go on.
Just not to keep our friends at Crate 808 struggling or thinking why are these guys just talking? I don't want them to be struggling with the edit because we're talking too much. Other great albums include Strain Man Chronicles, Big Kahuna OG and Grey Matter. Black Moon released a new album this year. I haven't listened to it yet, but it's Black Moon, so I'm probably going to enjoy it. Bun B, Static Selector, True Static. Choosing Exile, Black Beans. Out to Sea by Chris Orick. Let Love by Common was
whack.
It was massage music.
Whack.
What else have we got here on my list? We got DJ Muggs and Ito. Great album.
Nice.
Great album. James Garden, shout out to James Garden, former label mate of mine. He released a project called Sweet Jesus, which was really dope, really dope.
Not Jesus the King.
No, Sweet Jesus.
Okay.
Black Caesar by Knowledge the Pirate. You may have heard him on other albums by like Rock Marciano and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
He's a really he puts together really great projects.
Yeah.
In terms of rappability, I'm not really necessarily blown. In terms of his skill and dexterity, I can listen to him.
Yeah.
But his overall presentation, like thematically, and the beats he picks are top notch.
Okay.
So respect him.
As an all-round package.
Yeah. Milano from the DITC Collective, he released an album with Showbiz this year called Boulevard Author. But I also want to mention Milano in particular because his album that was shelved from 1999 got an official release. This year, so there was Showbiz, Lord Finesse, Ahmed, Buckwild all over the album. So that was dope. Murs, The Iliad is Dead and The Odyssey is Over. Soul Council again, brilliant. I think killed it. Soul Council might be producer of the year for me.
Yeah, we should throw them up there.
Yeah, Soul Council, man.
I mean, they've had a pretty good year.
Absolutely, Soul Council, Quelly Chris, Guns album, dope.
Yeah.
Schoolboy Q, Crash Talk.
It was okay.
It was just okay. But I think Schoolboy Q is better than that.
No, it was okay. It was average. I would say it was average.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't say
Smith & Wesson All. Great album.
But it's Smith & Wesson.
And it's Soul Council. There's a thread here. And to close, I think Your Old Droog. He released 2 albums this year, 3 months apart.
Jesus, I'm so off key. I didn't even listen to any of them.
The first album he released, it wasn't even close. An incredible. It was album.
I'm gonna listen to it today.
Please do. It's executive produced by Matt Comey.
Okay.
So if you know what your old Drew.
Yeah.
Real clever punchlines, real witty, very tongue in cheek. Don't take him too seriously. Production across the 2 albums. There is mono and stereo. Oh no, Obliv from Mutant Academy. He's got a few people on there. And this is a bit of a random selection, but I want to throw this in there. It's a compilation album by one of my favorite producers called Marcus D. I think he lives in Japan, but I think he's originally from Seattle. Please forgive me if this information is incorrect. He released a compilation album called The Cool, Volume 2, The Art of Boom Bap Jazz.
Nice.
So if you're really into like your Dilla, your Nujabes and all that kind of stuff, or Nujabes, I don't want people to come at me for pronunciation, but you know who I'm talking about. Check out that album. It's on Bandcamp. It's on all the streaming services. It's a really cool, chilled album. It's like song, instrumental, mix of live instrumentation and all that kind of stuff. So it's really cool if you want to take like a bit of a break and a detox from your hip hop diet.
Big shout out to Crate 808.
Yes. We're going to be on the show soon.
Yes, we will definitely do that.
I hope so. I mean, we can't put ourselves out there. He might not call us.
No, big respect for asking us. We value you.
Yeah, thank you for supporting our show as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for supporting us.
So there we go. Raymond Ridge bringing fire into the dungeon that is Crate 808 with his 3 albums today. Absolute fire. An absolutely traditional peak Raymond Ridge fire this all was. All boom bap, no messing about, old school samples. Jambo had some issues with it, but now it's the time to pick our favourite of the 3. I'm just telling you mine. Out of the scores, it's got to be Retropolitan, man. It's got to be Retropolitan. What are you two saying?
I'm thinking Apollo Brown.
I've come round to it.
in that short space of time that I've come round to it. No, Retropolitan easily by a country mile, not even close.
What do you think, Ray? What are you saying? If these three are all yours, but you just be honest with yourself, mate.
The answer that jumps in my head is Retropolitan, because I love it's simple, it's the beats, and it's got the continuity of, it's Skyzoo. It's one rapper across the project, and it's got, a character. But I love Sincerely Detroit, and there's loads of tracks on that I keep still revisiting. So Sincerely Detroit is a really, really, really close second. But it's weird because out of the 9 albums, like, I'm the only one that brought 3 hip hop albums. So it's kind of, I had like an unfair advantage in a way, but I'm all right with it.
You stuck to the actual MO. Genre is like sexuality, mate. It's fluid. Do you know what I mean? It can be anything to me. It's anything.
Yeah. Dangle that one out. Yeah. Don't dangle that one. You know what? Just doesn't matter. just.
Ray started to drink an extremely small glass of red wine just to celebrate his own win.
I have.
You're going to win either way, mate.
I have.
You're going to win either way.
It's
one thing I got to say though, mate, about Retropolitan. I think that I did kind of miss out that whole thing of, like, I think the one thing that album has more than the other two, you're talking about replay value and revisiting things. I think you're like me, Ray. I'm not sure how Jambo feels on it, but like picking apart lyrics, I think with Retropolitan, someone like Skyzoo, the one thing I found replaying it over and over and over again is the fact that I don't get that from Sincerely Detroit, where I actually get lots of new things from the lyrics. I would say lyrics alone put Retropolitan above the other two quite far, because the lyrics are just so dense and play on so many different levels. Very casual listening, you can listen to them and like it. As we said, the flow is in the pocket, but if you really want to dig deep, you can analyze it as well. So I think it works on lots of different ways, and that's kind of typical Skyzoo. But for this year, I think, he kind of nailed that perfection on that. So there's one thing I wanted to put on for Retropolitan. So there you go. Yeah, Retropolitan.
I'm
album of the year.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, and I think it's album of the year out of my 3. And let's face it, come on, it's coming out on top, isn't it? Come on.
But you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do is, this is James Midwinter's great idea. In the last episode, we're going to do a little tally of all the scores we've given all the albums, and then we'll figure out which one really is the album of the year. So look forward to that, peeps. That's coming up for the next episode, and the final one for the album of the year series. But all I can say right now, man, thank you for bringing Retropolitan. Thank you. You know what? Thank you for bringing all 3 of these, because I really enjoyed all 3 of these. Not sure how Jambo feels about all 3. His face right now. He's like, it's not a thank you.
I can't remember whether I said this, but no, it's not. Definitely not a thank you. And I don't understand. I still don't understand.
I can't wait for you. I can't wait for your albums. I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait.
I just can't understand how you lot can't tell the difference between one of the greatest hip hop producers of all time with a pretty great rapper, compared to one of the greatest hip hop producers of all time with a pretty average rapper, versus one of the most average producers of all time with a whole host of average rappers. How that can even be on with those other 2 albums. It's bizarre to me. One of the MCs is dead. He's dead. And I prefer to hear his verses now than the verses on Apollo Brown. So...
Mate, you
can't, I wish all of your albums had verses. Fucking hell. Just...
Can we do a podcast at some point on lyrics being overrated?
Ooh, but I like that.
It would be incorrect. It's starting at a point of inaccurate incorrectness, or accurate incorrectness.
Is there any point?
Is our lyrics essential? Are lyrics essential to hip hop?
Yes.
Are you talking about now, or are you talking about generally in the genre?
The idea of hip hop.
No,
is our lyrics.
We just had that podcast. We just had that podcast. You asked it, and I said yes. That was it. It's done. They are 100% essential.
To be fair, though, Jumbo, they are a pillar.
They're a pillar, but are they essential?
Yes.
I think all pillars are essential, especially the 5th, which is knowledge. I think they're all essential.
Is knowledge a pillar of hip hop?
Knowledge is the 5th pillar, isn't it? Hold on, it goes graph breaking, DJing, MCing. Yeah, knowledge.
It's not fucking knowledge. Why?
It is. Knowledge is a pillar. Have you not been to the Temple of Hip Hop in the Bronx?
These very specific things and then go knowledge at the end. That's stupid.
But isn't that the beauty of it? It's like, oh, right, that could be anything then. Knowledge could be...
How do you make an omelette? It's eggs, a little bit of milk, salt, pepper, and then emotions.
Mate, I'm sorry. Have you had a really good omelette? Because there's love in that motherfucker.
Yeah,
You're never gonna have a spiteful omelette,
not
are
an
you?
essential. No, I could make a really good omelette, Angler. Stick some Apollo Brown on and fucking furiously make an omelette.
Right, next time around yours, if you make me an omelette, I want to know what emotions were in this omelette after I've eaten it. Then I'm going to be, oh yeah, I can see it. I can feel the
I won't, because they're not
tension.
essential. Emotions are not essential, just like knowledge isn't essential.
Well, that's my 5 pillars of hip hop back tattoo. I'm going to have to get redone then. I've got all 5 pillars on my back.
I'm going to look this up right now. And
look it up. Look it up, mate. Not my words. The words
did you say
of the
5
Bronx.
pillars of hip?
You could defraud me on my own podcast.
Has come up.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
No, I think
you've mistaken hip hop for Islam.
Cam's
there's massive
Cam's
graph
been
in
casually
Islam.
chatting to KRS-One, haven't you? And he's like, knowledge rules.
Yeah. Well, he is hip hop, isn't he?
Oh my God.
Nowadays,
So you're right. There is someone who's put MCing, DJing, graffiti. You're right. Breakdancing. This is why hip hop is so stupid, and it's not like that's a stupid thing to put as one of your pillars. Knowledge.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to boot yourself off this 90s hip hop podcast? There are picket signs being erected outside of Crane 808 offices.
Because knowledge that's not exclusive. That's not hip hop, is it? That's just
stupid. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Of course it is. How much I learnt off of hip hop in the 90s because of hip hop. Yeah, that's knowledge.
Knowledge wasn't invented by hip hop, was it? They didn't go one day.
No, but it was transported to my brain by it. So, mate, I'm sorry, but I like knowledge as a 5th pillar. And anyone out there listening, if you're against me, come at me, bro. Or if you're with me, come at these two.
Just have 4 pillars. I know that 4 isn't as satisfying as 5. 5 does sound better, but 4.
Then you got top 5s, and you know what I mean.
Right, I'm just going to put it out there.
5's a key number.
Hip hop is stupid. I'm putting it out there.
And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, we leave this 90s hip hop podcast. Everyone's just unsubscribed. On to the next. Oh God, geez, this isn't going to help, is it? If they've unsubscribed. On to the next one. The next episode is Tyler the Creator's Igor, Denzel Curry's Zoo, and what's the third one, Jumbo?
You forgot it 3 times in a row. It's ridiculous.
It's Lil Pump.
His little pub. No, it's not. It's bloody
Danny Brown. For fuck's sake.
Danny Brown. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Right, lads. Thank you for bringing all this. Thank you for the bants. Hope you guys out there enjoyed it. Crate808.com for all your needs. Instagram, Twitter, email, whatever it is. And yeah, man, we're going to catch you on the flip side. Ray, I shall see you there.
Cheers. See you later.
Enjoy that small wine. And Jambo, I shall see you there.
Get fucked.
Peace.